an old man.
You may or may not have to murder a child. So come on.
I mean, the choice to not do it is always there.
Yeah, you don't have to, but
Track record with this party is not good.
So last session, we arrived at the Driftwood Flotilla, which is like this traveling inn suspended by large balloons and just this kind of chaos of various very poor machinations that allow this kind of ramshackle shed to float across the blue. We started the session already inside. We had met some of the proprietors who told us that Barnabas was busy. He had a meeting. And so we went inside and waited. We saw a young man that was sort of a sketched out character in the corner. We saw a goblin playing cards with a half-elven gentleman who was kind of shady. And Leovold very quickly realized that half-elven gentleman was cheating. So he eventually challenged him to a game of cards. Avriel pooped himself in the bathroom. How about that? That wasn't because of me, just for the record, Judy. That was completely his decision. I did not make him do that.
I'd love to hear the reasoning.
I don't quite remember that bit. I think he drank engine oil.
No, he drank alcohol that he had purified, so it's basically just engine oil.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. And then he pooped himself. And then he tried to get changed in the bathroom, and he did. And that doesn't matter. That's not super important. But he tried to get this goblin to do something, and the goblin, when the bathroom came out, and there was like poop in there. It was a funny joke. But the goblin loses to this half-elven gentleman. Leovold realizes that the gentleman is cheating, so he challenged him to a game of cards. We had a little back and forth this game of cards, which I thought actually played out really well. I thought that was very fun to do. It was simple mechanics, and I thought it worked. But we had back and forth. Leovold eventually catches him in the act of cheating, shoots him in the hand, tells on him. The guy leaves the device he was using to flick cards into his hand from his jacket's wrist. Was confiscated. He gets thrown overboard. Don't know what happened to him. Probably dead. And then Barnabas, an old man, comes out of Barnabas's office from above, climbs down the ladder, comes over, and joins the young man who was kind of acting shady on the side of the bar. And Damien, Connor's character, realized that they were both bearing the symbol of the enemy clan that he is kind of associated with in his backstory. And I don't know how much he got into that, so I don't reveal too much, but we do know that they are from the Kasai clan and that he has an issue with them. I'm not sure if we really know why yet, but he does, and it's a lot. We didn't immediately deal with that. We go upstairs, we talk to Barnabas. Barnabas is a little bit of a spicy dwarf. He gives us, the long and short of it is, he gives us a deal. I think it was 500 gold, and take the old man and the young boy, I believe. 500 gold sounds good to me. I'm pretty sure it was 500 gold. You get 500 gold if you take the young man and the old man and the young guy to Grand Rise, and the party agreed to it. And he wouldn't, I think effectively he was like not going to charge you for having drained your ship. And then he told you to mention a battle, the Bay of, I hope you wrote it down, Caitlin, because it's been a month.
I don't know, because I can't spell well at all, but it started with an N.
Nefero?
Something like that.
I think it was Nefero Bay. He says mention Nefero Bay to Captain Edberg, and you don't do it. And Captain Edberg takes the old man, young man, and then it's a regular day. We have dinner, go to bed. The old man goes outside. Damien creeps up on him outside. They have a back and forth. The old man kind of gets a little spicy with Damien, which pisses him off a little bit, but they don't go to blows or anything like that. Damien goes to bed, and in the same time frame, Bashiabas went to visit Nettie, who is the crew's navigator / astrologer. And she effectively told him that a loved one, and I think she kind of narrowed it down through various means to a father figure, was alive. Or maybe I think she was kind of being a little bit more broad. A loved one that he believed was lost is not. And then he kind of narrowed it down to his father, I believe is how it played out. He got a little nice buff from visiting her and some trauma. And there was some other stuff that happened peppered throughout, but those are like the major events as I remember them. And so it would now be the next day after Bashabas visited Nettie, after Damien stalked that old man who is yet unnamed as far as I'm aware. Um, and we are waking up the next morning with maybe a few days away from Grand Rise. Is there anything specific you guys doing this morning, or do you need me to push it forward? I know that Damien and Bashiavis have maybe some more pressing immediate matters. Like Bashiavis might want to pretend like that meeting with Nettie never happened, which means that he might not talk about that. And then I know Damien, you have issues with this old man. Is there anything that you want to address the party with on this day? Or are you going to kind of let that simmer and kind of move forward?
I feel like if you ever talk to Bashibus, like off to the side, he might talk to him just a little bit. I don't think he'd ever bring it up. I don't think he's the type of person to do that. I'd say his priority right now would just be like, I feel like he's just watching over them too. And if he does ever get the chance, like I feel like he's going to go up to the kid if he is alone at some point, try to talk to him a little bit.
There are definitely opportunities for that. Nothing special is going to happen on these next few days. You guys are going to act as the crew. You're going to be going about your crew duties, just keeping care of the deck, making sure that whatever orders Edberg has for you are taken care of. Leovold will be tinkering, probably trying to prepare the engines to lift when they go to port in Grand Rise. The ship is going to have to fly off of the clouds in order to port, so he'll probably be spending most of his time in the engine room, tinkering away, making sure everything is sound enough to do that. While the rest of you would just be going about your more mundane tasks. And there isn't anything that's going to happen between now and arriving at Grand Rise. So, like, hypothetically, we could just, the 2 days have passed, and now we're at Grand Rise, and here it is, and then we detail it. But there would be plenty of time for you to, like, catch this kid by himself and have a conversation with him at some point. It would just be a matter of whether or not, you decide to or want to do that, really.
Yeah, I feel like that would happen after like the end of the first day. I don't know if I'd have a conversation with any of the crew members beforehand because I know that they were a little worried.
Would you want to do it in like the like at night?
I don't think he'd care. I don't think he'd do it like right in the morning, but I don't think he would care too much about like what time it was. Just like if he was like alone for the old man and just like so that you can talk to him without him like interfering and like kind of being a dick.
The old man would get up to go meditate early morning. So like he was up meditating for a lot of the night, and then very early in the morning he would get up again, probably between like 6 and 7, and go meditate again like as the sun is rising. And that would be a very good time to catch the boy by himself. If you don't commit at that point, the old man will meditate again without the young man towards the middle of the day, around like 1, when the sun is kind of at like the highest point in the sky. He will meditate again, leaving the boy by himself in the lower deck. The younger man, the boy who's like in his teens or whatever, he doesn't do a whole lot of moving around. He kind of just like sticks to the lower deck, kind of minds his business, tries to make himself like as out of the way as possible.
Yeah, so I think Damien would talk to him in the morning then.
So you wake up the next day after kind of having this interaction with the older gentleman. Wake up the next morning and see that maybe you've still been keeping tabs on him. Maybe you're kind of like light sleeper. Maybe you're still kind of like a little shaken, or not shaken like in a fearful way, but just active. Your mind's very awake from your interaction with the old man and the situation at large. And you kind of, as soon as he leaves, you're sort of like aware of it. And the young man wakes up shortly after that, and you see a pretty good opportunity. Everybody else is maybe sleeping, or maybe they're just getting up and going to the deck, and you have an opportunity to go over and kind of catch this guy in a conversation before things get too active, and before you're gonna have Edberg screaming down your throat to get on the deck and start pushing a mop around or whatever. What do you say to this kid when you approach him?
I'll come up to him and I'll be like, "Hey there, I noticed that you're not with the older fellow when he goes to meditate. I was kind of wondering why that was."
he, as you approach him and you kind of like just start speaking to him so unabashedly, like you just kind of approach and just immediately kind of like fire off this question. You don't like introduce yourself. You just kind of like right to the point. It seems to kind of take him back a little bit. He kind of stops and kind of leans back and like looks up at you. He looks kind of sheepish almost in his expression. And there's a solid pause of like 2 to 3 seconds before he eventually replies to you, and he says, I am not as learned in our traditions as my grandfather, and I don't like to meditate with him. I meditate in my own way.
I gotcha. I didn't mean to scare you at all. I came up to you because you were a lot more. You seem more easygoing than your grandpa. I talked to him a little bit yesterday, and I didn't really like him too much. He was a little kind of hard to get to know, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I know what you mean. I am a bit easier to talk to than he is. He's very tough.
So, like, this is out of character. Like, basically, what I'm gonna try to do, I want to ask like a few questions, kind of like about like Kaisei stuff and everything, because I kind of want to see like how much does he know, like how like if he's like innocent and all, like in all that. Like, I kind of want to know like the levels that he knows of the stuff without like kind of revealing that like I'm looking for it. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So, could I like roll like an insight roll for that?
Do you want to play it out, or do you want to just kind of like?
Oh yeah, I'll give some examples, but I would probably say like this would be over an extended thing. But like,
okay. Let me give you a few examples of questions. Let me see if any of the questions seem incredibly important, or like he would give a particularly important answer to it, and then I'll allow you to do an insight roll.
So,
How about
so
that?
one that wouldn't even deal with the Kaisei thing, like just seeing like how long he's been active. I would be like, so I noticed that you, like over at the bar, you seem to not really know a lot about the world and a lot about like battle and everything like your grandpa. Did you just start learning this? Like, I know you said that you didn't really know much about the clan and its traditions and everything. Did you recently just start learning?
When I was, I've been in the care of my grandfather my whole life, and I have been very protected. I didn't see much of the world until recently, until he decided to take this pilgrimage back to our homeland. So just being around people is very nerve-wracking for me.
Interesting. Wait, so you guys didn't live around people, I guess, when you were younger?
No, so I don't know why we left, but my grandfather took me away from our family and people, and we've been to the west in Fa'akuli for my life, and we lived in a small village, and I didn't really. I wouldn't leave. He told me I very rarely got to leave. He would tell me to stay inside. So most of my experience was from reading or from teachings that he gave me. And he wasn't around much, so I was mostly by myself.
Did any of those teachings involve? And I'm gonna sort of gesture to my appearance. I'm like your grandfather was telling me a little about it yesterday, but I don't know. In all the readings I haven't really read too much on it.
Do you mean Yao?
Yeah.
Many of my readings taught me about Yao and the duality of dark and light and human nature, the nature of morality, philosophical ideas that my grandfather thinks are important.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, I'm sorry to bother you. My name's Damien, by the way. Sorry I didn't say that first.
My name is Jume Kaisen.
out of character, can you type that in the chat?
Yeah, I got you, dog. I'll put it into our chat, the private chat, and then I'll also put it into.
So I'll leave you to your own devices, though. I don't want your grandfather coming back and saying that I'm talking to you. He doesn't seem to like me too much. But don't be a stranger on this boat. We're gonna make sure you guys get there safe.
Thank you. I feel a little bit better. I was very nervous. He is trying to take it personally. He is very hard to talk to.
Yeah, don't mention it. I don't keep that at. I don't judge him for it. I'm kind of the same way. Can I also just roll like an insight roll just to see if if he does seem like a very innocent kid, just like to see if there's like nothing
Yep.
kind of weird.
Yeah, you can give me an insight.
18.
So he definitely seems to be telling the truth. He definitely seems to be of relative inexperience and ignorance and naivety. Can you give me also a perception check too?
Yeah. $21.
So the clothes that him and his grandfather were wearing are pretty loose fitting, sort of like kimono style robe, sort of. They're like gi crossed in the chest, and then they have like big sashes that keep it tied together. And then instead of stopping at like the waist like a gi would, they kind of are open faced in the front, and they go down to like just above the ankle. And you can see that he has like big kind of baggy, loose fitting, free moving sort of pants on that are look like a very lightweight kind of material. And then I've already given his physical description before, but he has like medium length black hair. His face is hairless. He's very young, high cheekbones, kind of a sharp nose, sharp lips, very sharp sort of features, kind of a narrow face, almost like a triangle style face. But you noticed on the flotilla that he had the mark of the dragon on his collarbone, similarly to his grandfather. It was slightly exposed by the open-faced clothing he wears. Now that you're closer to him, he's sitting, you're kind of standing, you can kind of see down into the gi a bit, and you can tell that the mark that is on his chest is a brand, for one, and you can tell by the way that it has healed and sort of the size of the brand that it looks like it's very old. And you suspect that possibly this mark was like administered to him when he was born, or perhaps as a baby. The way that it is healed, the size of it, it's not like, it's a very small little brand in comparison to the one that his grandfather has, which is actually on I forget where I said it was. I think it's on his collarbone as well, but his is much more sizable. It was much easier to see beneath his gi. Kind of came up, and it's like 4 times his size. And you suspect that he mentioned that his grandfather took him away, and you think that there might be something there. For some reason, they left. You think that might be a matter of importance. You're just not really sure why.
Yeah, I feel like that would just make him like a little sad, but I feel like he still don't walk away from the conversation and just get like a mental note of that.
So you leave that conversation. That's pretty much what I would say you take from it. Is there anything else that you want to do with this day? Is there anything else anybody else wants to do with this day? If not, I would probably just continue on. I won't do too much in the way of, you're kind of just flying over clouds, or really sailing over clouds for the next like 36 hours before we arrive at Grand Rise. So until we reach Grand Rise, not a whole lot's going to happen. So if you don't have anything that you want to do for your characters in that time, the next thing that the port will happen will be Grand Rise. Is there anything else that you want to do, Damien, specifically, before then, with an interaction with this old man or anything? Or are you gonna?
I mean, I was thinking about like at night, like because like he also goes out at night, like and everything. I was thinking about bringing the kid a beer at one point too, just like talking to him, just like maybe to find out more info. But I don't know how much more info he even has. But just try, like I don't even know if we have to play it out. But I'm just trying to build rapport with the kid a little bit. Again, to trust me a little bit.
I mean, you could definitely like bring the kid like lunch. You know, kind of like a quick little back and forth with them. And then like later on at night when the grandfather goes, you could bring him a beer and then maybe have another little conversation with him. This one kind of trying to dig a little bit. You kind of get him to drink a little bit of beer, get him a little tipsy and see if he'll like say more. I could definitely, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and I remember when he was at the bar, like didn't you say he had like whiskey or something? Like I'd probably bring him something a little better to sip on.
He had some sort of like a sweeter, like a not sweeter, brown liquor drink. You're not really sure if it was whiskey or not. It could have been rum or something, but yeah, he had something of that nature.
Yeah, so I'd probably do that, but I don't know if anyone would talk to me. But that's probably all I'd be doing.
If you wouldn't talk to any of the crew, I will ask them if anybody would approach. Would anybody have stay out of my stash? Would anybody want to have a conversation with Damien, or does anybody have any tasks that they want to complete before we arrive at Grand Rise and deliver the shipment? And then whatever's going to happen after that, because stuff's going to happen after that. But you know, that's outside of your immediate control. I can't tell if you're thinking, Troy.
How many days till we get to Grand Rise?
You're going to arrive there tomorrow towards the end of the day.
So we got 24 hours more or less.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sort of effectively. It's like 36 hours.
I mean, he would just make some of his things that he's capable of making before getting to Grand Rise.
Just be tinkering.
Yeah.
Could you give me one Arcana check, or maybe two Arcana checks? One for last night, like the night that passed last session.
Yeah.
And one for night.
First one is 15 and 16.
At some point, Captain Everett has come to you and told you, I won't role play it necessarily unless you'd like me to, but he has come to you and told you, in no uncertain terms, like this thing needs to get left off, and we're going to have to hover for an extended period of time while our ship is received and docked at one of the ports at Grand Rise. So it's incredibly important. And he would say it in meaner terms. He would say it in very harsh Edberg terms, but that this thing needs to be able to fucking get off the clouds and then stay up there for probably 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And you'd be like, fucking figure it out, get it done. You go up there and you've patched a lot of the holes and stuff, but it's still not like with extended pressure like that. You kind of are standing there looking at it and you're like, man, a lot of these things are going to pop in that time frame. Unless I have you would like to have some more time than a couple of days to really fix it so that it's secure. But you get to work on it anyway and start patching away at it. And in the first day, you get pretty significant progress. You feel you start to at first I feel like Leovold's sort of a negative guy, and I mean that in the nicest way possible. But you start to be like, I'll get it done. I'll get it done. And you do for the most part. First night, you kind of eventually get drunk or whatever. You fall asleep at some point, having felt pretty good about your work, and then you spend the rest of the next day finishing, kind of tinkering on what you had started. And you get to the point where this thing will last. It'll take off, and then it'll get us into port, and then it'll hover for at least an hour. And that's more than enough time for them to dock us so that I can turn off and we'll be good. And then you have the rest of the night to go ahead and tinker. So you get one day or one long rest of making an item or whatever you're going to do. And then besides that, everybody's been quiet. So I'm going to assume that means that we can skip to the last night before Grand Rise, where Damien is going to go ahead and talk to this older fellow, Jumei's grandfather. Is
Wait,
that
so I'm
your?
talking
Or no,
to-
I'm sorry. You're talking to Jumei, not Jumei's grandfather. My bad.
Yeah,
Gotta get
I
Jumei.
wanted to talk to the kid.
Sorry. So you butter him up a little bit throughout the day. If you get when lunchtime comes, you go, you make him some food, you bring it to him. You have a little back and forth. Nothing too heavy. Just here, thought you might want some food. I know you're kind of nervous, so I thought I'd bring it to you. He appreciates that, and then you go throughout your day. You do your tasks. You're in the crow's nest for a little while. Edberg kind of busts your balls a few times. You hang out with Bastiabas and Hetaru, and go through all that, and then night comes. You settle in. You see the old man get up and go outside, and then you go and kind of slink off, grab a beer. Maybe you get one for yourself. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Or you get a whiskey. You get a whiskey for Jumei. You come back, and he's still awake, and he's actually in bed. He has like a little lamp by the side of his bed. He's on the bottom bunk, hanging. He's got a book open, and it looks like he's writing in it. And the lantern light is flickering beside him. There's this orange glow. The rest of the cabin's pretty dark, besides maybe some other people's lights that are hung about. When you come over, you bring him the drink. What do you say to him?
Hold up, I'm looking up his name that you wrote down in the thing.
Jumei.
Jumei, here, take this drink. I saw earlier at the bar that you were sipping some whiskey, and that's not a good starter drink, man. You got to start off with the cheap stuff first. This will be a little easier to sip on.
He sees you come over, and as he sees you coming this time, he closes the book, kind of sets to the side. He sits up a little bit. As you come over, you hand him the drink, and you say that he's like already taking it before you're talking, and then he kind of has it resting in his hands, and then he kind of laughs a little bit. And he says, "I before the other day, I actually had never had a drink before, and I didn't know what to order, so I just asked the man to give me something, and that is what he gave me. And I think I got a little carried away, but thank you. I will. What is this?" He holds it up.
Oh, it's just some beer I stole from Leovold. Don't worry about it. I'll take the fall.
You son of a bitch.
I'll take the fall. Don't worry about it.
He says, "You stole this?"
I borrowed it. I'll make sure to pay him back if I have to. Don't worry about it. We
'Cause
don't
I
have
can-
a lot of beer on this ship. Leovold drank all the other beer that was community beer, so this
My
is just
my girlfriend and I have plenty of gold. I can pay him for beer. How much is beer? Like 2, 3 gold, something.
Don't worry about it. Really, don't worry about it. I already got it at this point. This
So,
is also supposed to be a celebratory beer. I'm not trying to get you to pay for it. This probably don't be our last night together with you getting off the ship and everything. And I don't know. It's just wishing you guys the best.
Thank you. Do you have like a drinking tradition in your cultures?
You just touch the glasses. That's all you do. And say cheers.
He clinks the glass and cheers, and then he takes a little sip.
And quick question, actually, is it like,
Mhm.
does Leovold have any other beer other than the one beer that was like so bad that like every almost died? Like, is there?
That was not beer. That was like effectively moonshine, kind of. It was like something adjacent to moonshine in some way, shape, or form. It might be what is powering the ship. I'm not sure. I would assume he probably does. You better not have taken the fancy drink, man. What was that called? That was such
Oh
a
no,
good
yeah, I
name.
wouldn't have.
No, that one went to the captain.
That's right. Yes.
The
Navaldi.
something ice vodka.
I think it was Navaldi Ice.
Yeah, that.
I'm almost positive.
And
All right, in private chat, so
Leovold has a plethora of drinks, honestly.
yeah, Navaldi herself signed the bottle. That's right. So he takes a sip. He kind of coughs. It's like regular. It's like regular beer, just like standard stuff. But he takes it a little bit harshly, kind of coughs a little bit, and says, "Thank you. Is this what you guys drink all the time?
Not all the time. We sometimes switch up the selection, but I mean, I'm drinking this type of stuff almost every night.
That's an interesting choice. He takes another little sip. He kind of nurses it. And he says, "So, how are you? How are you doing? What are you going to do when we get to Grand Rise?"
Not sure. I think the captain has a few things that he's got to drop off and deliver, a few things of that nature. But after that, we're looking for our next job. So I'm not too certain about what's going to be going on after that.
My grandfather told me some things about the captain. I think that the captain will have more jobs probably ready to go. He probably won't wait very long.
Yeah, he's not a man who likes sitting on his butt. We'll see what he ends up deciding. But how about you guys? I know that you guys were using our protection for now. Are you guys going to be fine once you guys get to the city?
I don't know what the plan is. I know that my grandfather knows somebody who knows a way to get into Omioji. That's not through Bright Bridge, Knoxbridge, whatever it's called now.
Interesting.
So, where I guess we're going to be getting on another ship, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. So I don't. I just have to follow him for now.
No, I got it. That makes sense. Well, I wish you guys the best. And one more cheers.
Like, he takes a bigger swig this time, and he manages to kind of knock it out. He puts it down and, oh, God. Oh, my God. That's terrible.
And at this point, I probably don't ask him. Is there any way I could see some of the readings that you have? I've seen a little bit about Kaisei in the clan and their traditions, but I never really had like formal learnings.
You'd have to ask my grandfather. He keeps them. The only book I have is my journal. My grandfather is Kaisei, but I am Kaisen, and almost the same. But my mother is Kaisei, and my father was Kaisen. So his teachings have been a bit different, I think, than the normal teachings of the Kasai clan. But you'd have to ask him for any of the readings. I can tell you about it, but
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, we don't have too much time, but yeah, I would love to hear about it. And
no, you're good. I won't roleplay it all because it's like, probably a decent bit of information. But I'll give you like the TLDR. From his teachings, his grandfather taught him from his father's perspective, the Kaisen perspective of Yao. And Kaisen believe in the duality of Yao, the dark dragon. And they believe that he is a two-spirited creature that has a light and a dark side, sort of like a yin and yang situation. And the Kaisen more so worship the white aspect of Yao. And they think that Yao takes on the mentality and nature of the people who worship it, rather than being a creature of one alignment. So his grandfather has taught him Yao from the perspective of the Kaisen clan, which is a creature of prosperity and grace and growth and respect for nature, things like that. Whereas your understanding of Yao, whatever understanding you might have, isn't that way.
Okay, with that information, I probably would want to talk with the old man then, at some point. But I don't know, Leah, if that's the end of the TLDR, I'd probably finish up the conversation with him and try to talk with the old man before.
Your character is half white. dragon.
Yeah.
And I think that would be something that you would possibly, maybe. I'll leave it up to you whether or not you'd like think anything of that, but you could.
Like you're saying in like ties like the Yao and like the dragons that they kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like he would see a little bit of, especially when he's like when the old man was talking to him about it, like about like with like the traditions and everything. Like he was kind of thinking a little bit about it, but I don't think he's fully pieced it together yet. But.
Looking at Tom's memes. Yeah, no, I think it'd be up to you to have, like, how much of that you want to take on or absorb as your character. So, like, you get up. I mean, like, obviously you say bye or whatever, but you go outside. The old man.
Did you ask if I went outside? My bad, you cut out for a sec. For me.
No, it's okay. My Wi-Fi just dropped a little bit. Sorry, it'll come back in a minute. Yeah, I asked. You say bye to Jume. Do you go outside and talk to his grandfather like right away?
I'll probably. Well, I won't make it like obvious like right after I find out the information, but like a good like 5 minutes or so. I'll probably go out.
So you like wrap up your conversation with him. You guys exchange goodbyes. He settles in, probably turns off his lantern, kind of rolls over, and you give him a few minutes until you think he's either asleep or he's like at least trying to settle, maybe not paying attention to you. And you go ahead and head onto the deck, and you see his grandfather, the old man, his white hair kind of cascading down his back. It's kind of like overflowing onto the deck of the ship. He's towards the helm, sitting there kind of overlooking the blue in his meditation kind of position. How do you approach him?
I'll probably do what I did the first night and just like sit down next to him and just start meditating for like 30 seconds before I talk to him.
100% he will not address you. He will absolutely ignore your existence.
I'll probably like, as a sign of not respect, but like more like just not being a dick, I'll just wait like 30 seconds and then I'll be like, so I talked to your son a bit. Or not son, your grandson a bit.
And he kind of opens up one eye and sort of side eyes you and then closes his eyes and he says, "And what did he say?"
Just a little bit about your guys' journey and what you guys have been doing. And I will say I'm a little...
Go ahead.
I will say I'm a little surprised, especially when you told me that you guys when I saw that you guys were in the Kaisei clan. Especially the teachings you've been telling him.
Why does this surprise? I don't think it's something to be surprised about.
I grew up on the same continent as you guys, and where I grew up, I never really saw the teachings intertwined. I really only saw bickering and disagreements normally between those clans. So kind of seeing the two sides of it, I don't know. It almost seems like they're almost against like opposition to each other in a way. So I don't know. It just kind of confuses me.
There is a type of person within the Kaisai clan who does not agree with the teachings that are currently popular with Yao. That's all he would say.
Yeah. Is these teachings, is that why you ended up having to leave the village?
I left my clan for the safety of my grandson.
But why would he be in danger if you weren't? I did see he was already branded, so what really could be giving him danger?
Unfortunately, when he joined this world and left his mother's safety, I was not there to protect him right away. There was a period of time that I was not able to protect him. But as soon as I could, we left. I'm afraid that it would be dangerous for me to tell you. But I left for safety. That is all you need to know. Go back
Can you
to
repeat the? You cut out for a second. Can you repeat the last 5 seconds?
my Wi-Fi came back on and makes me glitch out for a second. I love that. I said that he left for his grandson's safety, and that was all you needed to know. Pretty much was what he said.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be intrusive. I've really only seen one side of the teachings, and I've only seen a lot of death and negative things come of it. I would hate to see like an innocent kid get brought into that.
Well, this is time to be brought into it, but hopefully he is strong enough to endure what will come. Thank you for your concern.
This is out of character. Did I ask him about Guam last week? Or not last week, 3 weeks ago?
No, you didn't.
Do you know a man named Guam?
He opens his eye again. He side-eyes you with one eye open. And he says, what do you know of that man?
I've only had negative encounters. But I left for my best interest and my safety. That's all I really want to tell you now, but he's the reason why I kind of have a negative outlook on the Kasai clan. And he's like the main reason why I want to go back to my home country. Have you heard anything about him or like his whereabouts or anything?
I haven't been within Onmyoji for 17, going on 17 years. Last I saw Guan, he was rising in the ranks of the court wizards of the Kasai clan. And he was a talented practitioner of the dark arts. But that is all I know. I'm sorry I cannot help you more.
It makes me feel a little better that you guys aren't related to him in some way. I'm sorry if I gave you any attitude or any bloodlust in the beginning. That's kind of where that stemmed from.
I could sense your malice, but you are forgiven.
So I'm sorry for asking, but I did tell you I'm trying to get back to my homeland. How? You know a way to get back?
I do not know the way to get back, but Barnabas knew a connection that apparently takes people. I do not know how or what means.
I wouldn't mean to intrude, but would I be able to come with you to like see that information or see it myself?
Perhaps. I can't say. I know that supposedly once we arrive at Grand Rise, it will kind of take care of itself. That's what Barnabas said to me.
Okay. I'll wait till then. Well, this conversation was a lot better than last night's. I'll see you tomorrow.
He just tells you to sleep well and gives you a nod and then continues to meditate as you go off to bed. You guys all get your second long rest. Not that it matters because you've already gotten one. Before you wake up the next day, Captain Edberg is kind of in rare form on this day. Really barking orders. He wants everybody like up and at him. He like smacks Avriel in the face, gets him out of bed, kind of, runs around. Real crazy. But you guys wake up. He wakes you up at like 5 in the morning, and he's already probably been up for like an hour getting everything situated. And then if everything dies down around 6, at that point, all the tasks, he's already done most of the work, and now he's like forcing you to like sweep a clean deck. You know, the masks are already up. There's nothing even to do. He's already done it. But he just wants to see you fucking working. You finally, you just kind of play pretend at working. You're just like holding ropes and, just looking busy and like kind of side-eyeing, making sure he's not like glaring at you as the day wears on. And eventually, probably around 5 o'clock, really thick, heavy clouds. There's like a lot of cloud spray that's kind of obscuring your vision. But at some point, you kind of bust through a cloud, and it becomes like wide open. The sky is just blue. There's no fog. There's no cloud fog coming up from the blue. And you see Grand Rise far away in the distance. At this point, it just kind of looks like it's maybe about that big in the sky. But you can see there's like a pointed bottom. There's like this like spire that comes off of the bottom that kind of taps the clouds. And then there are these rings that are all these different sizes that are coming up off of this spire. And they start off smaller and they kind of balloon out towards the middle so that it gets like progressively bigger towards the middle. And then it kind of balloons back in. And then there's a kind of a column that rises up about 2/3 of the way up. And then more of these like kind of circular shaped piers or floors that then go to the top where they balloon back out again. And then the top has the largest circular structure at the very top of Grand Rise. And then there's another spire that rises up out of the top that you can see coming up over top of the largest circle at the top that kind of reaches up to the sky. And in the middle pier, the one that's like kind of right in the center, and it's the largest circular structure towards the center of this very sort of almost this mechanical wonder. There are 4 long, sort of like circular energy pylons is the best way I can describe them. It looks like sort of those like futuristic helicopter blades where the blades come off to the sides and they can kind of tilt and turn instead of like coming right off the top. There are 4 of them that are like of gigantic scale. And from here, from your distance, you can see them giving off like a pretty large blue glow that almost, it's like this light blue glow that almost drowns out the blue of the sky. And you can see there's like this rippling distortion effect kind of emitting from these very large circular engines that come off the sides of the center of Grand Rise. And then kind of scattered about Grand Rise's upper levels and the middle levels, any of them that are kind of exposed. You can see that there are like balloons coming off that are these large ribbons of parachutes that rise up above the city, assisting the engines and keeping this crazy structure afloat. And then kind of dotted all around the city. There's some ships like down in the clouds below it, and then there are like all manner of structures. Some of them looking like just like haphazard boxes tied to balloons. And then like, these ridiculous ships that are tied to massive balloons that are keeping them in the air. No engines or anything. They're just kind of floating by balloon. And they're just kind of speckling the sky all around Grand Rise as you now approach. As you guys kind of continue to approach for probably a solid hour and a half, you eventually come to like, you're getting towards the bottom of Grand Rise, and that's when Captain Edberg kind of yells down in the engine room. Well, Leopold, it's time. Fire that shit up. We got to get off of this cloud. And Leopold, you're like, got it. You hit it. And you give it just a little bit. This isn't like the major crazy takeoff from that worm monstrosity. This is just a gradual, like, we're going to try to get some lift and just slowly ascend. So it's not as hard on the engine as that was. And you go up, you release the Aethra that you have in the engine. You see it kind of flare to life. And then you go ahead and slowly pull lever, just releasing a bit. You can hear the engines of the ship come to life, and you can feel the liftoff. There's that initial jostle, and then you give it a little bit more juice, and you can feel yourself lift off as you guys ascend into the sky, and you give it with a little bit more juice, and then stop as you continue up around the side. Grand Rise, you kind of go around it in like a circular fashion. As you guys get up the side, you see that there is a massive hole in one of the structures of Grand Rise. Each one of those rings that you saw is just this like collection of buildings that each ring has like a slightly different kind of architectural design. You'll pass by the lower you are, it's like these kind of metallic rough structures. And then as you get up towards like the middle of the lower half, there are wooden structures that are sort of like almost like shanties that are just kind of clinging to the side of this thing. You can see little roadways kind of running in deeper into this massive floating metropolis. And then in the wooden structure area that you're now passing, there's a port that is like this massive hole. It looks like there was just like an explosion that blew outside the side of this strange structure. And inside of that hole, there is a port. And you can see there's several ports kind of lined up, and one of them is open. And you kind of feel Captain Edberg swing the ship. He calls out to Leovold to kind of lower the thrust. You kind of bring it down so that the ship kind of levels instead of continues to rise. And he swings it in and kind of cruises into one of the docks. And then very quickly, people kind of start assembling. They throw some chains over either side. They kind of pull the ship in kind of haphazardly. And then you can hear some cranking and stuff as these arms from beneath the port start rising up to cradle the ship in place. And you guys help with this process. And it takes about 25 minutes to get the ship safely moored and just sitting next to this port. When all is said and done, Captain Edberg finally wipes his brow, walks down. He goes to the port. He goes to the hole that goes down into Leovold's chambers, and he says, "All right, you did it. Here." And he just tosses down a bag. You hear a clink, and it kind of explodes when it hits the bottom. And he goes, "You've earned it, and I appreciate. I know I'm hard on you, and you're a piece of shit, but you did your job, and I appreciate that. We're finally here. So why don't you take a break? Go ahead, get yourself drunk, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to go tend to my business. Turn that fucking fire starter off, and let's have some R&R." He goes out to the rest of the crew, and he would just kind of tell you guys that to do whatever you wanted to do. He's going to handle the trade agreement that they have. He would tell you that there is going to be a what's this guy's name? Let me go here real quick. I just added this earlier. Yeah, Fred's is cool. There's going to be a port authority inspector coming, probably like any minute. He's going to go over everything in the ship and make sure that everything is like, he's going to check over his papers for the Nomad. He's going to go over all the cargo and just make sure everything's cool. And they're going to start unloading. And he doesn't expect you guys to unload. You guys are off the hook. When you guys arrive at Grand Rise at the port, and once he's pretty much given you this spiel about like what's about to happen, give me a perception check.
9.
Dirty 20.
Damn.
23.
Dirty 20.
Jeez Louise.
Listen, we don't have a passive of 22, okay, in this group.
Avriel, right. Jesus Christ. Avriel, what was yours?
8.
Okay, all right. Oh, I see it. Thank you. I feel like Avriel's like, the job was done, so he went back to bed or something. He's like not even here. The rest of you guys rolled really well. Darren, what did you get?
9. I rolled a 9.
8 and 9. That's okay. I feel like there's a lot of whimsy right now. You're like looking at all this crazy stuff and just like trying to take it all in. Let me go in here real quick. What do I? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm going to turn this on and turn it a little down. As you guys pull in to Grand Rise, the hustle and bustle of the city immediately takes over. There's like all of these like ship hand type fellas like running around. They have like ropes and chains and they're mooring your ship. They immediately start like going in and like kind of grabbing some crates and stuff. Edberg yells at a few of them to like slow down, handle the goods with caution. Like that's going to fucking explode. You handle it that way. He's, you know, immediately after addressing you, he's like right back into captain mode with these like strangers that are just coming on your ship and doing the tasks at hand. Pretty much everybody except for Adarin and Avriel. Adarin, you do notice like there is one above you, probably about 50 to 60 feet. There is like a ceiling that's sort of like this ramshackle, like metal and wood, massive metal I-beam type joist. They're like holding up this like strange metallic structure that just sort of bores deeper and you can see just kind of go on for like ever, like, you know, it just kind of clouds this. There is no sky in here. It's just metal and wood just ramshackled together to create this sort of enclave here. Ahead of your ship, you can see that there's some city streets that go directly ahead, and there's some city streets that go to the right and left. You can see to the left that there appears to be like some sort of like open court warehouse where a lot of these men are kind of coming to and fro, moving boxes and bags and barrels and such. And then you can just see that there's like a sort of central thoroughfare that more like regular people of Grand Rise are like moving to and fro. They're coming from the right side and like kind of hustle and bustling over the left, or there's a bunch of people down the central avenue that are kind of standing outside, sitting around. There's like merchants and criers and stuff running about. There's all of this noise that I think Adarin's probably really focused on. For the rest of you that got higher, one of the first things you notice, there is a gentleman that is standing beneath. There's like this crane that is coming up out of this port that you are now moored in. And beneath it, there's a few ship hands that are kind of standing around this guy who is in this like frocked blue coat. He has like a white button-down shirt on. He's like kind of fancy. He's like these big collared sleeves. And he has like this big roll of paper that he's kind of going over. And he's like clearly addressing these people in front of him. And he keeps eyeing your ship as he's talking and then returning to the people in front of him. And you're able to kind of put two and two together. You think that's probably the inspector. He seems like the inspection type of fellow. He's got this like big, beefy mustache that kind of hides his lips, these big, bushy eyebrows. But something that catches your eye a little bit in a not positive way. Everybody got above 20. Directly down this thoroughfare, there's a couple houses that have these like overhanging. They have like a porch. Sort of, and then there's like structures. The porch kind of goes to a house, and then atop of the porch there is like a above ground. There's an apartment above there, and it creates this space beneath that higher structure that is somewhat obscured. There's like a half wall that runs it, and you can see there's like some people out there standing. Let me go ahead and let me go in here real quick. Like way over here, there are these like porches that have these like overhangs. And these like half walls that kind of obscure your vision a bit. And as you guys are doing whatever you're doing in all of this chaos of the port situation, you can see a dude who has he has a dark brown hood up, and then like it's kind of got like a kind of a scarf situation or something that's tucked into some like leather armor. He's got that scarf kind of pulled up, so it's like half concealing his mouth. And he's got like an eye on your ship. And you see he reaches up and he turns on a lantern. And that lantern glows blue instead of like a normal, just like an oil red fire color. And then he walks to the right inside of the home that he is standing beneath. And I want you guys to give me we don't have any. We do have a rogue, actually. So particularly Bastiabas, but everybody can give me a history check. But for Bastiabas, give me a history check as if you had expertise.
All right.
Would I do this? Because
no.
I didn't think so. I want to make sure.
You aren't doing this.
22.
My history's so good.
Damien got a 4.
23.
Oh wow. Okay, look at you. Before I get to that, how do I say your character's name, Judy? Elisra?
Elisra, yeah.
Elisra. Okay. For me, can you hit me with a brief description of your character? I already read the
Sure.
backstory, but
Well, like I said, she's an Air Genasi, so has kind of the light blue skin and hair of that. Her clothing is somewhat colorful, not like in a jester costume sort of way, but, you know, more eye-catching than average, I suppose. But it is a little bit shabby. It's kind of patched together a little bit. Her hair is maybe chin length, but it's sometimes hard to see how long it is because it's always blowing around. Sometimes that's very flattering. Other times it's just right in her face, right in a mop. And some of the time it's also like very staticky, as it is probably right now.
okay, I like
And
that
she
a lot.
appears agitated.
It could be like literally she appears agitated like all the time. She has like a resting bitch face.
No, like if you were to see her right now, she would be agitated. But
Got it.
in general,
Give me a perception check. Also, thank you for your patience, and I like your character description. That's interesting. I like that.
absolutely. Perception?
Give me a perception check. Yeah.
18.
You are here. This is a port that is pretty familiar to you. I won't get into it, but this is a port where something very significant happened to you in the past. And you spend time here sometimes, just kind of like maybe in the hopes of seeing something familiar, or something that might help you with that situation. And on this particular day, you're maybe making your rounds around. You just kind of come through here from time to time when you see a ship pull in that maybe you haven't seen before. And you see this older gentleman kind of, you can actually like hear him over the roar of just the bustle, kind of yelling in this like thick accent at all the people on the ship. And that yelling kind of catches your attention a little bit as it draws your eye over to the ship even more so. Doesn't look too suspicious. It's kind of, you see this type of thing all the time, and it's not maybe what you're necessarily looking for, but it is an odd ship, an odd bunch. It's not just like some city ship. It's not just your standard, like, trade ship or something. It looks a little bit, it's slightly out of place.
Well,
And that kind of catches your eye a little bit.
for.
So you kind of linger a little bit and watch as they get moored up. They start unloading. The deckhands start coming on to their ship, taking barrels and stuff off, and you're just kind of hanging out. By the way, you can give me a Hero Forge mini. You can create a mini for your character and just shoot it to me, share it to me through Discord.
Okay.
And you get one freebie. And then if you ever want to, if you can wait like a nice year, I can get you another one for free. But if you want more than one in the same year, you got to pay me for the second one if you want to update your mini. But first one on the house.
All right.
And you can do that, before next session or whatever. But you're kind of hanging out like over this way, trying to just kind of blend into the crowd and stuff. And while you're over there, you see some of the crew members, something catches their eye over here. And so you kind of look in that direction yourself. And you by the time you've looked over, all you see is the back of a gentleman who is in sort of like roguish leathers, hood up, disappear inside the apartment, but you can see the hanging blue lantern just as they did. And I want you to also give me a history check.
Okay. 14.
And do you think that before you continue, you got a 14, but do you feel as though, has your character been in Grand Rise like since, I don't know the timeline that we're necessarily looking at here with the events of your backstory, but do you feel like you have pretty much been in Grand Rise since then? Like you've been in Grand Rise for a bit of time.
Mm-hmm. I would say the events of my backstory were pretty recent, maybe like a week ago.
Oh, so it's like just happened.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. How long do you think you would have just to influence this role in any positive way, perhaps, and also from so I can get a little bit of a check on your. Did your character? You're not from Grand Rise. I remember that.
No.
You're from the Tides. Do you think your character's been here for a long time? I mean, like prior to that event, were you here
I
for
would
a few
say
months? You kind of just
no,
got
a few
here. You were here
years.
for years. Okay. Um, Give me. I'm going to roll the d4. You can add a +3 to the result of that history check.
Nice. Okay, 17 then.
Okay. So you, Leovold, and Bastiabas, you can figure out your own justifications for why you know this information. I feel like Bastiabas he has thieves can't. Leovold, you're just kind of a smart guy. Maybe you pay really good attention to things. Maybe you're a little bit rough and tumble too. You're kind of you almost had Han Solo vibes the last time you were in a bar. Maybe that's why. And Alyssra, that one's going to take me a little bit. Alyssra, just perhaps from being in the city for as long as you have been, you've kind of run into some shady characters from time to time, but you recognize that lantern and just sort of the roguish nature of the gentleman who lit it as the symbol of the Lamplighters, which are a sort of thieves guild-esque faction, but most importantly, on a 17, Alyssra, it was 17, right?
Yes.
On a 17, I don't know if you would know two. Why is my camera? Tip, 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 tip. Oh, right here. Focus on me, please. There we go. I'm not sure if you would know necessarily. You would know that that's the Lamplighters, and you might not know much more about them. You would know that that's like a faction that is sort of a kind of like a, depending on who you ask, they're sort of a Robin Hood-esque group and or terrorists. How much money does the guy that you're asking have? For Leovold and Bastiabas, you know that they tend to steal, tamper, destroy, particularly like Aether shipments. Like that's sort of that's their whole vibe. But also they like to mess around with Blue Gear, which is a sort of company that has a lot to do with really the functioning of Grand Rise as a whole. Bastiabas, you might not know this, but Leovold definitely would, because he's been on the ship for a bit, and also his role in the ship. You know that one, the ship has got a shit ton of Aether on it, for one, and two, this shipment is actually for the person who owns Blue Gear. And the fact that a lamp lighter presumably just lit that lantern and then went inside isn't necessarily a good thing. And Alyssa, that would be the long and short of it is that that's bad. All three of you that noticed that would be like, that's not a good thing. Leovold and Bastiabas particularly, I'll return to, I feel like Alyssa has no reason to necessarily immediately thrust herself into that, but Leovold and Bastiabas, how do you guys react to that situation?
Probably calmly. And Bastiabas has made port plenty of times. And he, as a rogue, he kind of knows how thieves might operate. So, I mean, he wants to appear calm, like he hasn't really noticed anything. He'll kind of give Leo a knowing glance, like they kind of clocked it at the same time.
Leovold looks annoyed.
What do we want to do about that?
I just wanted to get to a bar and drink. All right, so they're here. They know we're here. So only two options I can think of is we go to said location and nip it in the bud, as they say, or we just fucking wait around and escort this ourselves. That could take for hours.
It could. Would Bashiabus know anything about how this group operates? Are they like a strafe kind of group? Do they like to operate under the cover of night, or are they very well planned out? Could they pull something off like this in the light of day?
They tend to give me an additional history check.
Okay.
And this one, I think maybe not with the expertise slapped onto it.
Just the normal. Okay. So +2, that'll still be a dirty 20.
Nice. So you know enough about them to know that they do have like two different ways to go about doing things. They aren't afraid to just like do a terroristic action. Aethra is highly explosive. There has been times where they have just blown up a ship. And on a dirty 20, you would know that the Lamplighters are supposedly and believed at large to be responsible for the giant hole that you're in the first place. So it's not like unheard of for them to just be like, fuck those guys, and like just blow up a boat. But if possible, they would prefer to steal if they can, which would probably be something that they wouldn't be able to do in the light of day. So if it is going to be a light of day sort of situation, it would probably be more of just an assault.
Sure.
Otherwise, they will probably meet, discuss the fact that there's a large shipment coming on. They'll probably scout you, figure out where the bulk of the shipment goes or where all of the shipment goes, and then they might raid it, like at night or something. And what they tend to do is they take it and then they will disperse it amongst the city at cost. I mean, they sell it, but
Sure. I'd make all that known to Leo in kind of brief snippets, still kind of keeping appearances up. I don't know if it's I mean, it's unlikely that they're going to just come at us. I feel like the element of surprise would have been as soon as we got officially moored. I don't think they would have given us a chance to get our bearings down. I reckon that lantern light's a calling card, and they're going to go discuss it. They're going to establish some kind of pattern for us and see where the shipment's going, and then they're going to come back, probably under the cover of night. So, I mean, I guess a drink might not be the worst idea. If they think we're a bunch of vulnerable vagrants and miscreants who like too much liquor for their own good, it might give us the benefit of them underestimating us.
So are you suggesting that we just go out into the city and enjoy a little bit of the day and then make our way back to the boat?
I guess I'm suggesting maybe we just don't act brashly. We don't put all our lives on a hold because we saw that lamp light up. Business is normal until we have some kind of larger lead. Odds are they're wanting to take this stuff to sell it. It does them no good to sell blown up things.
No, but they could have their own Avriel in their group that just wants to beat the shit out of people and have chaos.
That's true. Let's hope their Avriel is as drunk often as ours is.
That's a terrible idea.
What are you guys talking about?
Oh, you finally woke up, did you?
Hi, good day.
I wasn't sleeping, just resting my eyes.
You push
Right.
the broom for 20 minutes and then you go back to bed. Okay.
Well, somebody's got to get the dust bunnies.
I'm not going to touch that one.
I don't even know what to say to that. Yeah.
Well, reported. So, you all want to stick together, or do you have plans of yours to do anything? I was going to try and find a shop that sells pretty decent scrap for the Nomad.
It's not bad. I think they're going to think something's up if we're all together in one big group. Might not
No,
be a
like
bad
seriously, the ship is fucking falling apart. It needs better parts.
idea. Sure.
Do they have parts for like my heart?
Oh.
You know, there's things that could mend that. I mean, it doesn't really mend it. It just makes it go away for the night, and it's called a fucking bottle. Just don't purify it like you did last time.
I told you, man, I'm straight edge. I don't do that stuff.
Well, then your heart's gonna be shattered for forever until you find a way to mend it. I don't know. The bottle
Maybe
keeps helping mine.
Yeah, well,
Of course, if you're gutsy enough, there are probably other things you could take.
yeah. Maybe I could just solve it with just smashing things.
You know, I don't think that's actually gonna solve it, because if it did, it'd have been solved a long time ago.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, can I come with you?
I'm gonna regret this. Yeah, sure, why not? Fuck it, more the merrier.
Thanks.
What should I do? The captain didn't tell me
You
what to
seem
do.
pretty overstimulated right now. Are you alright?
No. Oh.
That was an honest answer. Okay.
Appreciate your candor.
The captain told us to do what we want, but I don't know what I want. There's so many people.
Alright. Stop. Think of nothing. Alright?
What?
Just
How do you
blank
do
your mind
that?
out. Just blank your mind out. Think of a
Ugh.
cloud. Just think of nothing but one cloud in your head. Okay. You go to a city. What's the first thing you want to do?
I want to know what's interesting there.
Alright, there's a board somewhere you can read, I guess.
Can I have been eavesdropping? Or would that be
Oh,
too
I'm not.
obvious?
Dude, I speak loudly.
You could be eavesdropping for sure. Yeah, you could have like a. Why don't you give me a perception check? And I don't think they're being sneaky, so you're
Oh.
probably going to succeed. And you can also
Finally.
just passive perception is above like a 12. I don't know if it is or not, but
Yeah, both are. I'm good on both counts.
That
yeah, then you probably are able to overhear most of it without drawing too much attention to yourself. Just kind of like lingering in the area, you're able to overhear most of that, I think.
So I go up to them and I'm like, oh, I'd love to show you some places around the city.
look at that strange random person. Hi. There, you got something interesting.
Right, there you go, Darren.
Well,
Strange.
said you wanted to see some places. I know some places.
Stranger danger, guys.
Just you want to go with them?
Are you asking me?
Nope, nope,
Hey,
Oh, you're asking him.
nope.
do you have a van with like candy in it?
Orange.
Oh, I
What,
wish.
Oh,
first off,
damn
what
it.
the hell is a van?
Yeah.
It's like, like a cart.
Why didn't
Like a
you just
carriage.
say that?
Yeah, do you have a carriage?
Fucking van. Where are you
Where-
from again? Like, is that what they call it?
You guys know where I'm from, alright? I don't have to explain myself. Anyway,
Wait, where are
yeah,
you
deep
from?
Parts of your soul.
I'm from Knoxbridge.
Oh, well, damn.
Yeah, previously known like as Brightbridge, but it's not so bright anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine. That must have been really hard.
Yeah, it's like
Don't start it,
Pretty-
please.
pretty dark, like my soul.
Fuck.
God, it's better when he's asleep.
Are we gonna go? Are we gonna go shopping or what, Leovold? I kind of want to go to Hot Topic.
What's Hot Topic?
What?
I think you
Harder?
made it up.
I don't think Grand Rise has that. I mean, that might be a old home thing, but not here.
Also,
Alright.
hi. What's your name?
Oh, I'm
Random
sorry.
person.
I'm Alythra. What's yours?
I'm a Darren.
Hiya, Darren. You got an interesting ship here. I just like to learn about it.
It's a piece of shit.
Even more interesting.
It shouldn't float, but it fucking does.
I would love to know how.
Prayers.
Pretty much by miracles, yeah. I mean, it's quite
No,
a
it's
Is
not
marvel.
this sort
even
of in
that-
a divine sense, or are you being more sarcastic?
Sarcastic as hell. Like,
Yeah.
it should not be
Right.
floating, honestly. It's
Most
held by,
of
like, adhesives and scraps.
Wonderful. So you're having some money troubles here, then?
No, not really.
Well, then why don't you fix up your ship?
Because it's not my ship.
Oh,
It's
so the
that guy's.
captain's the one with the troubles. I see.
Right.
He's just back there like yelling at dudes. They're picking up barrels and slowly moving them off the ship.
Yeah, that angry SOB back there. Yeah, it's his. I just make.
He's probably
Fine.
mad because he has a piece of shit ship, you know?
He's fine. No, he's fine. Totally fine.
This is a better one of his days. So, if you're going to take our friend out to see things, what would you be showing her?
Hmm. Out of character, I have no idea. My character knows this city, I do not.
You can give me a history check, and I can tell you some things.
We're either going sightseeing, guys, or shopping. Or one of us is going
Who knows,
sightseeing
man?
while everybody else goes
Dirty
shopping.
20.
I would say that you have performed once or twice at an inn that's down the street called the Black Cloud Inn. That is sort of a higher end sort of place. It's pretty sizable. It's got nice rooms, several stories. It's a nice place that you like to go for like entertainment, and that's where maybe you would have performed several times in the past, or maybe still do.
Alright, yeah, I mean, we could go catch a show at this inn that I know just down the road. Pretty nice place. I hope that you'd have enough coin to afford it.
Go to Claire's to get a nose ring. Canonically, yeah, there is a Claire's in this district.
Damn,
There's a
it's,
sale. There's a sales right across the street.
You know what? I'm going to take you to Abercrombie and Fitch and torture you.
God, I'm having high school flashbacks. My brother and cousin refused to go into the store because it gave them bad vibes. Honestly, Avril might just be my brother and cousin as a teenager.
To my Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yes.
Yeah, it gave me. It was weird. They had like it was always like islandy. There's like a bench outside for some reason. Like that. It was weird. They had like torches. They would have like tiki torches, and there'd be two entrances, and it was really dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the weird part. Was the dark part? Like,
Yeah. Why does it need to be so dark in here?
So you can't see what
Anyway.
you're buying.
Yeah, you just gave me nostalgia, like the worst kind of nostalgia.
Flashbacks. Flashbacks.
Flashbacks. Yeah. So Alyssa, you would know about Black Cloud Inn. It's down the street. And right now, it's crack-a-lacking. You know, it's
Alright,
pretty much
so I
always.
suggest that, and I mentioned that they have some nice booze there.
Okay. So there's people, more people, and sounds.
Oh, it's Grand Rise. There's always more people.
Oh, it's great.
I know, right?
Yeah. Okay. Is there information? Anything? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, bring your friends. Let's all go.
Do you guys? I know you gotta get parts.
how about this? I'll go get parts for the ship and meet you at the tavern. Black Cloud rate, good booze. I'll be there, but I have to get parts first. Otherwise, we're not flying anywhere ever again.
As you guys are having this conversation, the person you inspected, or you expected to be the inspector, was the inspector, and he is now approaching the ship. And Captain Edberg comes out to greet him, and the two of them have like a back and forth. Edberg's attitude comes way down. Edberg's already got like some papers out. He gives them to the inspector. The inspector kind of goes over them. And you see them kind of going back and forth before Edberg brings the inspector on. The inspector starts looking about the barrels, and then him and the inspector disappear below deck. Give me a history check, Leopold. I gotta check your. Have you? I don't think you have a. Do you have like a connection in your backstory? I don't remember you having one in your backstory. I have something ready, assuming that you rolled decently. I wasn't sure if you had something in mind for your character. So it sounded like you said you knew a guy. I wasn't sure if you literally thought that, or if you were like, just.
What, for the shopping part?
Yeah.
No, he's just gonna go find one.
Gotcha. Go ahead and give me a history check.
14.
So you know that over to the right, there is like a mercantile sort of district, and then directly ahead, it's more of like housing. And then there are like some shops that kind of like are built like little things. You've been to Grand Rides maybe a handful of times. To the left, there is a warehouse. There is a factory. There are several guilds, but that's more of like a business district and not like the fun kind of business. To the right, to the left, less fun business. You know that at the warehouse, you've heard, you haven't been, but you've heard several times that there is somebody there that would be able to fit your needs.
All right, so I'll just go to the warehouse, not too far away. You all enjoy the play and drink, and Darren, calm the fuck down. You're going to be surrounded by people for the next, 24 hours, so you might want to get used to it. More tea, less alcohol. You'll be fine.
It's not a bad idea.
Okay.
All right, let's go, you dark bastard.
Oh yeah, Avriel's going with you. I forgot.
Field trip.
All right, before we do this, because this is when things will get interesting. Let's. Plus, I'm sweating. I am so excited. I'm a little bit of a tangent. I'm working on my shed to eventually. I'm gutting it, and I'm gonna put in some concrete. I'm gonna put up new walls. I'm gonna insulate it. I'm gonna put up drywall, and I'm gonna make it an office for my wife and I. And then I'm gonna get Wi-Fi in my own home, extend it out to the shed. So hopefully I can get out of this hot box and fix Wi-Fi troubles. That's moving, but it's been horrible. It's been like 1,000 degrees, and I've been working my ass off outside, just dying. So that being said, let's take Fiverr real quick. I'm gonna go grab water, and then let's see where this thing goes.
Quick question.
Of course you have one. What's up?
I've been talking a while. I've been talking a bit. Is Damien with everyone? Because I feel like he'd be with the old man and the kid, but I don't know what they're doing. I doubt they're probably walking around with everyone.
They're below deck.
Yeah, so I don't know if I went out to the shops or anything with people. I probably was staying on the ship for a bit.
3-way split. Cool.
Perfect.
Actually, it might be 4.
Always.
Bastiabas has a plan.
It's always when we have a 3 or 4-way split. That's when the magic happens. That's when my ADHD fully gets to shine.
Okay, so what I'm hearing right now is Darren's going out with a stranger with no one from the group with them.
Bastiabas isn't going with her?
He
Guys got their own
He has his
plans.
own plans.
He is.
Oh, we're going a Fiverr? That's a 4?
4, because 2
Yeah,
of us are
that's
together.
4.
Oh my.
Gosh.
All right, let me go get water. 100%.
He's the most neurotic person off with something.
Jeez, we're so fucked. So fucked. I knew we should have just barged the lantern fuckers in their place.
I'm thinking about going to investigate wherever he just came from. Sneak in that room, see if they left anything.
So you're gonna go to the Blue Lantern area?
Are you gonna tell anybody?
No, because he's a rogue.
Yeah.
That's Rogue 101.
Who needs backup?
And you're gonna go to a bar with a stranger.
Yup. It's great for a day.
I love how the person that has like social anxiety,
Social paralysis.
yeah,
Meeting
is going
strangers.
to a bar,
It's karaoke
meeting
night.
random people.
It'll be fine.
That's what the bar is for.
You're gonna have a wild magic surge. Just even if you're not that class, you're just gonna have one.
It's just gonna happen.
Turn into a potted plant.
Oh gosh, honestly, that would be really nice for Darren.
I get away.
Plant.
Peace. I can just sit in the sun. It's quiet.
Well, he has the minis out, so I'm gonna say we're gonna like either at the end of this session start a fight, or we're gonna start a fight rather quickly, and then we're all fucked because we're gonna be a 4-way split. Damien's not even gonna be in the fight at all.
As long as we're all together relatively quickly, I think we'll be fine. They're going to group up right now. They're going to meet up and discuss some things. So we have at least a hope that they're
I'll say a
long-winded.
couple hours,
Yeah.
unless they decide to just go terrorist action. Then we're fucked.
Here's the plan. We don't have a plan. Let's go. Done.
Got 12% of a plan.
Well, I mean, if something happens, the evil's just gonna shoot. That's all he does. So technically, his plan was to shoot first, not ask questions later.
That should work. That should not fail us.
Well, you're going all sneaky sneak, so there is no point in shooting first. I just hope you can recon very well.
My stealth's my highest stat, but there's always a good chance I'll roll low when it matters. You can count on that.
Ooh, I should. Ooh. See, this is why you should tell people because my artifact item, I could give you advantage.
Good to know. I mean, I'll probably start walking with the two of you, and they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I'll be right back." I don't know if he'll say where he's going.
Honestly, Darren's probably just like everything's so much chaos that I probably wouldn't even ask.
Okay. All right. So we're doing a 4-way split. Perfect. Trial by fire. Welcome back. All right. So, Bashiabas, what's your plan? I need to know what you're doing.
I would like to go to the little office area where we saw the lantern, where we saw the lamp.
Oh, so you're just going right for it.
Yeah, just gonna go for a little recon.
Do you tell the rest of the group you're doing this, or do you like let them kind of wander off and then you go?
He's gonna start walking with Alyssa and Darren in their direction, and then he'll be like, "Oh, I'll be right back."
Okay.
Go do some window shopping.
So the group splits up. Damien stays below deck with the old man and Jume. Is that correct, Damien?
Yeah, I'll probably just sail the ship. Especially when I was seeing like some like weird stuff going on, I'll probably just stay back.
Avriel and Leovold, you guys enter into the port, turn left to go towards the warehouse. Bashiabas, Elistra and Adarin, you guys go right to go down this like main thoroughfare that is at the most alive part uh, of this area. Maybe has a little bit less chaos with like all the workers not running around and stuff. But here, there's like a town crier who's like immediately right in your face with like papers and stuff. And you see there's like people on the sides of the street selling things. There's like groups of people. There's a bunch of people moving down the street. There's like two kind of like lanes of human traffic that you kind of have to like jump into. And before you do that, Bastiabas gives you the it's almost an Irish goodbye. It sounds like. You say, okay. And then Bastiabas, you let them kind of disappear into that crowd as you then go up towards the home. I'm going to start with Leovold and Avriel. The two of you get off the ship, turn left, head over to the warehouse area. You see deckhands bringing stuff. They're putting it into a storage area. And you can see as you come in, there's like the central courtyard, and a lot of the boxes are going like right in here. There is a crane that is like on the top of the structure that has like extending, and you can see it like there's somebody up at the top operating it with like a crank, and there's like a big sort of bar on it that allows it to be pulled by two men. So it shifts its weight so that the crane can, operate in like a 360-degree sort of way. It has like extend to it. And there is like it looks like there must be some sort of courtyard or storage area behind the warehouse, this like workshop area that you're in front of. As the crane like goes down, they'll strap a box onto it. It'll get craned up, and then it'll turn. It extends out, and you see like kind of disappear back behind this warehouse area that you're in. Directly ahead of you, you see there is what looks to be like a little like a workshop. And you see all sorts of like mechanical contraptions like hanging on the walls. There's like all types of bits for construction laid about in the courtyard itself. And moving about this area, there's a bunch of workers, which cause a little bit of chaos for you. But in the back, inside of the structure, you see two people that are going back and forth between the area. One of them looks like he has like a ledger of some kind, and there's another one who's like pointing at things and looks like maybe they're taking inventory or something. The one who is like pointing at things, and he's kind of got this like high, shrill sort of voice. It's this little gnomish gentleman. He has like powder kind of like blasted across his face. His hair is like blown back. He has this like salt and pepper hair. You can't tell if it's because he has white hair that's covered in dust, or if it's just that's the way his hair actually is. He has a little green apron on with all sorts of like mechanical baubles and bits and tools and stuff all about. And the person behind him with the ledger is maybe he appears to be like a furbolg. He has like a very wide, square face, big jaw, big fat nose. His skin is like a purple kind of color, purple blue, and it has it's like lightly furred all about. And he has almost like a lion mane sort of look, like his beard kind of goes up his face, and then like it all kind of connects to his hair, and it's all like just one sort of adornment across his head. And he is wearing like this big, thick, has like these big fat sleeves that are like kind of buckled at the elbow, and then they kind of balloon back out, and they're buckled again at the wrist, and then he has gloves on. And he has like a smaller apron. It like doesn't quite fit. It's just like this little belted apron, and then the tassels that normally would go up to the shoulders are just kind of flopped down in front, so they kind of drag across the ground. He's behind this gnomish gentleman taking notes, and they look like they're the people that run the warehouse. And you can see inside the warehouse, Leovold, particularly Avriel. This doesn't maybe mean anything to you, but you can see that there are several different like components that would be that you could use for the repair of your ship, and it looks like they might manufacture those things in here. It's like there's like copper piping and stuff like that throughout, and you can see the components to create more of the stuff that you would need. It doesn't look like they have it necessarily on hand. There might be like some time period where they'll actually have to make it, but you're confident that if those are the people that are responsible for doing it, that they have the means to do so.
Well, Leopold's going to make his way through the busy area straight to the Furbog gnomish gentleman, and kind of just like tap the gnomish man on the shoulder.
You give him a tap. The furbolg kind of turns and looks at you. The Michelle turns around and goes, "Oh, hello. How can I help you? Welcome."
Appreciate that. I'm looking for spare parts that I'm going to need. Not might. Fucking thing needs an upgrade. I need parts for a ship, and I've seen a few of them over here. I was just curious, do you manufacture them or does someone else?
I make them myself, with little help from my buddy here, Titus. Titus is like he's a big guy. He's probably like 8 feet or so, very wide. He's almost kind of hunched in this room. The ledger's like really small in his hand. He has this little pencil. He just looks down at you and hello.
Little. Right. Are those parts right that currently for sale, or I have to like? Do I have to?
Oh yeah. Oh, I sell them. That's my main source of income. So if you're looking to buy, I'm looking.
How many do you have on hand?
These particular parts, or do you need something more specific? I can manufacture them here.
Well, right now, I just need a bunch of common parts, and then I'm going to go install them, see what else I need. So I'll probably be back.
If you think you have what you need here, if you could already see it, feel free to take it off the wall, bring it to me, and we can come to some sort of agreement. And then if you need more made, or if it's not available, we can come to something there too. And puts a hand out. My name's Jazz Hat Finkley.
Jazz Hat?
Yes.
That's a unique name, not gonna lie.
Well, it's pretty common in my culture, so don't appreciate that. What's your
I
name?
apologize for being a smartass. Just been out for quite some time. I've literally just made port. All right, I'm sorry.
You don't get around a lot of gnomes.
Not really. We don't have too many on our ship. By too many, I mean at all. Mostly passengers that we haul from one point to another. Leovold is my name.
All right, Leo. Well, feel free. Take things off the wall. I'll forget that you said that.
That's fine. He will grab all the basic parts that look in not shitty condition, but not great condition either. Like he's kind of bargain bin hunting because he does not have like the funds to upgrade and fix the Nomad like it should be. But he's just trying to keep it limping at this point. Yeah.
I don't know how much gold you already have, but the captain did throw you a bag of 100 gold.
Oh, okay.
Earlier, he did toss you a bag of 100 gold, just so you know.
Well, that could change some things.
And you go through, and you suspect what you're grabbing here that you think will kind of get it to not where you'd like it to be, but a place of like, we can do
just below that line of where I'm like, okay, I'm content. Just below it.
Yeah. You get about you're and again you're kind of bargain bin hunting and stuff. So give me a investigation check.
I am not proficient in that, shockingly. That is going to be a 13.
So you find the parts that you think you need. You don't really think you've missed much of anything. You wish they had. He doesn't have too many. You need some more like brackets, like things that'll connect the pipes, and also there's like you need like what are those called? I'm just gonna call them connectors for now. That's not the correct name. I'm a construction administrator. I should know what they're called, but I'll remember them later and I'll spout it out. You need brackets to make sure the pipes like are sustained from the roof and not just flapping about. There's not quite enough of those. You think you're going to need quite a bit of them to take away the new stuff and get rid of the old stuff. And there's a few connectors that you wish you had a couple more. You need some like elbow pieces that aren't available, some like awkward angles, like instead of just like the common 90, you need like some 75s and stuff. And you manage to get a few of them, but not as many as you want. And then you manage to get most of the like just pipe pieces. You think enough to get it to where you need to be, but you do suspect you're gonna have to come back and probably ask for some things to maybe be made, or hopefully they'll be here the next time. And you suspect it's probably like 75 gold. You like just your gut is telling you like this stuff will be worth about 75 gold.
Well, I return to Jazz Hat and go, "No, you didn't have everything I need. I need a bit more brackets and pieces that connect to each other, and you got all the tubing I could ever fucking need. But how long do you think it'd take you to make, I don't know, a couple more batches of those two? And potentially some other things?
We usually work on custom orders. So I appreciate you not judging our what we have on hand, because that's just kind of leftover stuff from custom orders where they over ordered, and we just kind of take it back and hold on to it. So typically it will be custom ordered, but I'm glad that we had what you needed. I'll sell you that stuff there. 50 gold.
All right. Not gonna argue with that one for right now. Just that was a little bit strange. Didn't expect it to be that much in a good way. Not entirely sure how to.
Well, you're not
I don't
supposed
shop
to
a lot,
buddy. But if you happen to, you're
from
captain,
one creator to another, like even the smallest things, you should. It's your time and materials, and then you triple
there's
it.
a lot of business right now. If I'm being honest with you, and
What about the ship with a giant hole in it?
The giant hole is a part of the city.
Oh, okay.
And you would know it as it was a part of it. You rolled high enough as well in your history check to know it. It's part of a terrorist attack that happened. Let me check my notes real quick. Almost 4 years ago now.
Probably heard about it.
And it was sort of a big event. Yeah. So that's a separate thing. But that being said, he would just say, look, we need a little bit more business. So if you happen to know anybody, or if you yourself need more work, just remember, Gas Hat's Gearbox, and we'll help you out. We'll hook you up a little bit, and in exchange, just don't fucking work with Blue Gear or Cloud Sea or any of those bastards. Just Gas Hat's Gearbox. It's a good place. Look at us. And the big,
Not too shabby.
I
I have a question. Is there any current project that I can see from where I'm standing that Leovold may notice and want to maybe critique or improve the play?
Give me a perception check.
Natural 20 for 25.
You can see on his there is like a long workbench that like extends across the entire space. And there are some blueprints on it. It looks like they may have a couple military contracts with the Blue Defense Division, and you can see some schematics for like a smaller sort of like skiff-like ship. And it's the drawings. You can see that you're looking at one that's an elevation, like a side cutaway of the ship, and like some internal dimensions for like where everything should be placed, and like it has like some buoyancy lines and stuff on it that are displayed. And it does look to you. Give me an Arcana check to follow that investigation check.
Arcana 18.
Well, the design looks decent to you. It's not bad. It's probably pretty much like the cookie cutter build, but it does look a little bit back heavy. And you suspect that were it to take on even the smallest bit of cloud, I mean, any bit of blue, it would kind of go into a slight droop in the back that would quickly just turn into a full-blown like this. And you think that possibly adding something on the sides as like additional flotation would, or maybe if it doesn't look like it has any sort of etheric power on this particular design, this is more of just a wind-powered machine or boat. But you think that perhaps adding something on the side to add some balance and some additional buoyancy would alleviate that problem entirely.
He'll just like not even thinking, just see something kind of incomplete, goes over, looks around, finds something to write with, and just starts doing his own schematics on top of it to improve the areas.
Guy's hat says, "Hey," and he comes over. He says, "Hey, what?" And he looks around. He grabs a stool and he climbs up on top of it. And he stands next to you and he looks down with his hands like on his hips. And he's just kind of watching. And he looks up and he says, "What are you doing?"
Just fucking trust me. I'm pretty good at this shit. I made that nomad flight for fucking 8 years, so this ain't gonna be a problem.
You see Avriel. Guy's hat standing there with his hands on his hips, looking down at Leovold, who's just kind of drawing away on this piece of paper, and you're like standing in the corner or something, like watching like Dad. That
You're
is
gonna talk to Tibbs.
And
Titus.
Titus comes over and he stands next to you and he looks over and says, "Hey,
Who are you?
Titus, who are you?"
I'm Avriel.
Cool.
Do you want to be like best friends?
Name or-
Do you want to be like best friends?
Sure.
Look at my hammer.
You like? Is it already on your back?
Yeah.
You pull it out, and he's like, "That's sick." And he pulls.
Yeah.
He lifts his tool belt, his apron that's like flopped over. He lifts it up and he pulls out this little hammer. To him, it's very little. To you, it's kind of sizable, but to him, it's like way too small. And he says, "This is mine. It's not as good as yours. Where'd you get that?"
I don't know. Just kind of like manifested, like just like appeared. I had it. I can't really go too far without it.
That's metal, dude.
Yeah, I mean, just fucking manifest shit. It's pretty cool. Your hammer's cool too. I like it. I wish I had a small hammer.
It's good for like helping him do stuff, but like I don't feel like doing it sometimes. It's
Yeah,
always moving around and stuff.
yeah, man. You just got to stick it to the man sometimes. Just do what you want to do.
Sometimes in the morning, he eats porridge, and I'll put like dirty, and he never knows.
That's metal, dude.
He never knows. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's
You
yeah.
should come over for breakfast one day, and we can think of a new way to fuck this porridge.
Yeah. Sometimes like I'll go into like Darian's bag and I'll like pull something out and put it in an area where he doesn't know where it is. But then he never looks for it, so I end up putting it back.
Who's that? Like, who are you talking about? Is he here? Is that guy?
No, that's Leopold. He's pretty cool when he wants to be. Kind of a dick right now, but
Everybody's dick sometimes, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm on a ship. Have you ever been on a ship before?
No, man. I've been here like my whole life.
Oh, that sucks, man. You got to get out more. Anyway, yeah, you should come by the ship sometime and you can meet the crew or whatever, and just say like, you're Avriel's best friend and they'll know.
Where are you guys docked at?
Actually, I don't even know where we're docked.
What does your ship look like?
That's a good question, dude. I kind of don't know what it looks like either.
Well, I'll
I
come
think
down and I'll just knock on all of the ship's doors.
yeah, solid plan. And if I'm not there, then it's not the ship, you know.
Yeah, and then I'll just go to the next one.
Cool.
So like I'll see you tomorrow, man. I'm gonna go I'm gonna look in some boxes or stuff, see if I can't find anything cool.
All right, man.
You wanna come or
You know what? Yeah, let's do it.
Not my problem anymore.
give me an investigation check with help from Titus. Or he can roll too.
Investigation?
Yeah.
Investigation. Dirty 20.
Alright. Bam. Alyssa and a Darren. You guys get separated from Bash. Obviously, he says, I'm going to go this way. You guys have been on the main thoroughfare. You move through the crowds of people. I didn't put that many minis down because I didn't feel like it. But, there's more people on the street. As you're kind of moving through, bobbing and weaving through the groups of people. Darren, give me a perception check. I'm not going to put it at disadvantage. But I feel like you could administer disadvantage to yourself if you feel like that's justified. You were like shoulder to shoulder with people as you're moving through this like wide street. And there's just like people bumping into you. There's all this noise.
Well, seeing as how one of my class features is being able to cancel out disadvantage or advantage, I think
Sure.
like she's like curious enough that like if anything would catch her eye, like it'd be able to kind of like I think get through. I didn't roll great. I rolled a 14. I guess I could have guided now. But 14.
What do you have on your person, like around your waist area?
I think like she probably has like her pocket watch. I think is connected to that. I think she has like her journal. One of her journals has like a journal holster. And then maybe like a
I was
bag.
hoping you would say I was really hoping you would say your pocket watch. Really hoping you would say that. As you're moving through the street with Alyssa, you do manage to feel something kind of hit you on the side, and it feels a little bit more intentional than like just being bumped into as you go down the street. You feel somebody like kind of grab you a little bit. At first, you might think something of that in some way, but as you go to look down, your pocket watch is gone.
They took my watch. Hey, did you see them?
Hey, asshole!
Alyssa, give
And
me a
I start to
perception
walk
check.
after him.
Give me a perception check to see if you saw the person.
Perception. $22.
They actually did. So they got a 19 on their stealth. You see a halfling. At first, you're not sure if it's a child or an adult, but when you yell, "Hey, asshole!" he turns around and he's got like kind of a half beard where like it comes down. Then like his chin isn't bearded; it's just like down to here, like mutton chops. And he's got this red cloak on, an orange shirt. You can see he is armed. He has like as the crowd is kind of covering him, going back and forth. You can't see enough that he does have some weapons. It looks like he has maybe a few daggers on his belt. You yell, "Hey, asshole, stop," or, "Hey, asshole, come here." He turns and realizes that you've seen him, and then he goes to dart into the crowd and just kind of continues to try to run away. What do you guys do?
We have to go after him. Yeah.
Hey, did anyone see where he went? And I'm like kind of calling out to the passers-by.
There's so much chaos that people aren't like registering your existence. You're just kind of a name. You're like you're just one of many people amongst this crowd as you're kind of calling for help. Most people just seem to completely ignore you. Give me a persuasion check.
rolling really well. 25.
Yep.
You're yelling out, and let me see. I got to do a couple rolls here. As you're moving through, there is this kind of part in the crowd that the halfling is moving through when you yell that out, and you get the attention of this half-orc woman. Has this long braided, very bright red, almost looks like it's probably dyed red hair. She has like fire truck red hair in this very long braid, and she has like almost like it looks like maybe like a blacksmith's apron on or something, and then like this furred tunic. And she turns and notices you kind of yelling and asking for help, maybe pointing in the direction of the halfling who's running away. And she nudges her companion, who is this like tabaxi, perhaps. He's wearing this, like, he's in this slouch position. He has this huge bag of boxes and stuff kind of stack up on his back so that it kind of goes up into the sky, which is why the crowd's kind of moving around him. And he's hunched trying to carry all this stuff. And as you call out for help, they turn, they see you, they see him, and Tabaxi puts his foot out to try to trip the halfling. But unfortunately, the halfling rolls high enough to jump over that leg. The half-orc woman tries to grab his wrist, but she loses the grapple, and he pulls away, and he kind of stumbles a little bit, turns, and continues to run. You catch up. The half-orc woman, like, very quickly just apologizes, and then she says, do you want me to help you chase him?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She turns to her friend and she says, I'll be right back. And he says, okay. And I will be at the Black Cloud. And she says, oh, okay, let's go. And she starts running after the halfling, who at this point now is just, you manage to just see him turning into a side alley into Alyssa. You know, I'm not going to make you roll a history check. You know that this leads into like kind of this winding suburban, not suburban, metropolitan, like nightmare, like all these little side streets and alleyways and stuff. As you run back there to continue to follow him, it kind of splits into three paths, these like narrow little alleyways and stuff. Give me a survival check.
Well, the luck ran out. 10.
Are we both rolling?
You can both roll. Yeah.
Okay. That's 17.
Where is the place that I want to do? You do see him just disappear around a corner, and you see his cloak get caught on a like sticking out torchlight. Kind of catch that torch goes swinging, and there's a bit of like red hanging from it. You point that out to the rest of the group. You guys chase after him, and you can see him go down an alleyway. As you rush down the alleyway after him, give me one more perception check. Now, by the way, the streets are like much less full. You're back here and like occasionally run past somebody who's like sitting out front of their front door, or like a couple of dudes that are like standing on the corner talking back and forth, but it's effectively empty.
I got 22.
There you go.
A lot better than anything that I got.
As you guys run down this alleyway, you see that there are two gentlemen. Let me... They're too tough looking. I need like less tough. That guy. Kind of standard brigand fella. And then like very standard just human man. You guys are coming down here. The halfling comes down to this. He comes to this stairway, and he kind of starts going up it. And as he gets to here, you guys are kind of chasing after him. You're probably like back this way. As he gets here, he stops and turns around, and he says, "Let's get him!" And you see these dudes kind of turn. They crack a smile, and you see another person come from around the corner here.
Does this city have like cops?
There is the Blue Defense Division. They're not. The city's a little bit too big, and you're at a part of the don't necessarily have the best reputation, specifically because they. Oh, where'd he go? There he is. Ooh, look at this little ugly bastard. As specifically because they mostly police the higher levels.
Of course they do.
And then I need. Let's see. You're a ranger, right?
Me?
Yeah. Oh no, you
No.
went bard. You went bard. I forgot you went bard. This is a colorful. This isn't. This is a different character as Minnie, but it's colorful. So for the time being, that'll be you.
All right.
And then. Half-orc lady. Roll initiative and hold that as we return to Bastiavis. Bastiavis, you say goodbye to the girls. You cross the street and you go to the place where the blue lantern light is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You come to these row homes with these little overhangs. You see one of the blue lantern lights still flickering there. What do? These are row homes. So the houses like right on top of each other. They do have like very narrow alleyways between them, but only big enough for like one person to move through. But they are so close that you could like, there's a lot of options for approach. You could like shimmy up the walls and stuff. Like they're so tight. It's like maybe 2.5 feet wide, so a bigger person probably couldn't even fit inside, but I imagine that Bastiavis is a little bit more of a lithe fellow.
Yeah, for sure. He's kind of got like a runner's build. Yeah, I think he'd probably try to kind of like case the outside of the joint, look for options, and probably decide that, that alleyway's a little out of public sight. It's small enough that he can make something work, so he'd probably head there.
You slip into this alleyway, look around, and you can see that there is no windows down here, which kind of makes sense. There's really nothing to look at.
Sure.
But you can see that up top, there is like a slight little ledge, and there is an open window. And there's like some plants on there, and there's like a shirt that's hanging off of it. Again, nothing really to look at, but there's like a little breeze that runs through this alleyway. So I guess perhaps maybe these people use it just to have like, a little bit of nature and a place to dry a shirt or something.
Sure.
You feel pretty confident that you could shimmy up there and just enter in through the window up there.
Yeah, that's probably what he would do. Go all
Give
the way
me
up.
an athletics check.
Athletics or acrobatics?
It's athletics.
Ish. Okay, not terrible. +3, 14.
Not too bad. It's not quite as easy as you like in your mind it would be, but you do manage to kind of get your hands on both sides. And you try to shimmy up that way, and you kind of lose a little bit of steam. It takes a lot of upper body strength, so you kind of turn and you put your legs against the wall and your back's against the wall, and you kind of like walk up the wall until you get within range of the window. And once you get up here, give me a perception check.
Perception. 21.
21. You can hear some people talking inside. It sounds like they are in this upper floor. There's two voices going back and forth. One of them is a woman, one of them is a man. The man is saying to the woman, "Are you sure that your sources are good? Because I just don't know that this is the right time for this. Haven is coming up. We're a month away. This is going to be... They've kind of let it all go. And if we do this, they are going to come down hard. Are you sure that that is what was said by the Firestarter?" And the woman replies, "I'm telling you, that's what he told me. He told me that the Nomad was coming in. It was going to be laced, and that we gotta Now's the time. You know, we're going to do a showstopper. We're going to do a showstopper. That's what I was told. You know, Edison, he's not bullshit. He talks to the fire starter all the time. This isn't some fucking setup. This isn't some fucking blue setup. This is the real deal. It's now or never. And the guy says, I fucking hope you're right, because if you're wrong, we're fucked. We're going to be fucked. And the lady says, stop. You're honestly, I just think you're scared. I mean, you're getting cold feet, and that's fine. I understand. But it's not the time for cold feet right now. It's the time, you know, for really quite the opposite, you know. So you got the lamp lit. We're good. Let's get the fuck out of here and wait for everybody to show up. And then let's get the show on the road. And he kind of reluctantly, there's like a pause, like 5 or 6 seconds. And he says, all right. And you hear some chairs kind of shimmy across the floor, a little bit of scraping on the wood floors. And you can hear the sound of the wood kind of bending and moving as bodies move inside of the structure.
Okay, so we definitely know something's going down and something's going down tonight. And they mentioned, did you say fire starter or fire star?
Yeah. They said, he said, I was kind of on a fucking hot, I was rolling there. He said something to the effect of, are you sure this was the fire starter? Starter, not star.
Okay.
Starter.
Okay.
Told you.
All right. Got that down. Can Bastiabas just try to peek in to see if anybody's in general vicinity of the window? Is there anyone in that room?
You peek in and you can see 2 people. You see the man that you saw previously, brown hood, now down. It's a half-elven man, very light skin. He has some scars on the side of his face that's visible. You can't quite make out eye color or anything. He doesn't have any facial hair. He has bleach blonde hair that's sort of ragged and almost like this like wild mane. The scars are pretty distinct. He has like almost like this like kind of cross scar on his cheek. It's like not like a perfect cross. It's more of like on an angle. There's like one that comes down and one that goes across that on his cheek. That's pretty distinct. And then the woman is a Goliath, and she is sort of like blue-toned, gray skin. She has some tribal markings on her face that kind of blend. It's kind of tough to maybe set them to memory to be able to catch her in a crowd of Goliaths, but Goliaths are kind of rare in general. She has these like little metal knots on her head that go down to the base of her skull that each have like a very, very short kind of like almost like a ponytail that are kind of like flopping about. And she has these like stone gray eyes, very strong features, pretty large woman, big warhammer on her back, and then she's wearing just like regular clothes besides that. And both of them are at this point up, and they're like moving towards a set of stairs on the far side of the room from you. And it looks like it's like this room is like effectively empty. There's a table in the middle and there's a couple of chairs. There's one bed that's like really haphazardly, just like this kind of mess. And then there is just kind of like literally like kind of like just trash. There's like some mugs on the floor. There's like paper that's been kind of crumpled up and thrown about. It's just sort of a little den. It's not like a house really.
Sure. So they're moving towards stairs. Are they vacating the room?
It looks that way. They said that they said, let's get out of here. Let's go get with everybody and just, wait pretty much. I mean, I'm giving you the TLDR, but that's exactly what they said. It looks like they're leaving.
I'll wait till they vacate the room and then I'll try and little slyly get into the room, just see if they left any evidence behind, any kind of thoughts on paper that they wrote down, anything at all.
Hop over. As they leave, you can hear them go downstairs and you hear the door open and close. And then you hop on in. Give me an investigation check.
Not great. Only a 13.
You don't manage to find anything. It looks like they don't. This is like at least at this level that you're witnessing, this is like a word of mouth situation.
Sure.
You didn't see anything. You don't see like a newly crumpled piece of paper. You do, like, kind of out of curiosity, go about the room and kind of pick up some of the trash and open it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it, there's like wanted posters. There's like flyers for like hiring, like ships they're hiring and stuff like that. It looks like either the crumpled piece of paper looks like it's either bits of information that maybe they were trying to pull from to see like what are certain ships in the area up to, or them literally ripping down maybe wanted posters of themselves or other members of the Lamplighters.
Sure.
And then besides that, there's just like trash and stuff. There's really nothing in here of much import.
Okay, seeing that there's nothing important, Bastiabas would probably try to quickly get back down to the ground to see if he can tail him.
Do you go back out the way you came?
Yes. Yeah.
So you, in a rush, examine the room. You're like, there ain't nothing in here. You go to the window. You kind of put your hands on both sides, and you kind of fireman slide down the side. You rush to the edge, and you look down the thoroughfare both ways, and you see them disappear the way you were going, towards the like mercantile district, the way the girls were going. You kind of go out, you start to tail them as they get into the crowd. What's your passive perception?
16.
Okay, so you're able to follow them until they go past the Black Cloud Inn. They go to, you don't know this, but they go to the same place that the girls are going. But instead of going the way the girls went, which was kind of, there was 3 paths, that kind of right, straight, and then like this on an angled road. The girls went down this angled road.
Mm-hmm.
They go down to the right. You follow the right down, and there is a sign for a. It looks like it's like a candle. There's this picture on the sign, and then on the piece of wood that's coming out of the wall that's like holding the sign, it says candle makers, and they go down a set of stairs into what looks to be kind of like a basement or something, and they disappear from sight.
Could we briefly retcon and say I grabbed a few of those wanted posters they took down on my way out?
That makes sense to me.
And then, so A, so we could get some faces. B, so on his way while he's telling him, he could like put a few up just to make it a little harder for them to move around in public. And then 1 to keep.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. So we have a general idea of this candle maker's location, possibly a front, possibly a common meeting ground. We don't know. All right. Knowing that, I'm not going to push it any further. Not solo. I'll go back to the Black Cloud, which is the last thing I heard Leo say he was going to meet Aethra and Darren at, and that's where he'll be.
You you leave the alleyway that you're in, you start heading towards the Black Cloud.
Oh, actually, you know what? I'll go up near the lamp or near the candle maker's place. I'll take the back of one of those wanted posters. I'll take a little like piece of like charcoal or whatever, something to write with, and I'll be like, might need to push the timetable back a few days. F. And I'll like pin it up with a dagger. I'll fold it up and pin it up, and then I'll head back out.
Smart. You pin it up, you write that with a piece of charcoal, and then you head back to the Black Cloud Inn. Ladies, what's your initiative?
22.
8.
All right, the half-orc got a 19,
Oh,
and
did
one
he
of the
now?
bad guys got a natural 20.
Oh, man.
Meh. Okay. All right. So, bada bing, bada boom, straight to the moon. We got natural 20, unfortunately, for the female halfling. Female halfling goes first with a 20 plus. and then Adarin got that 22. And then I got the half-orc woman, who you don't yet know the name of, which is fine, at a 19. And then I have the other people, pretty much. Halfling male at a 16, and then the 2 bandit dudes, or thieves, call them. Thieves at 12. And then Alyssa. It's going to take me a little bit of time. Alyssa. Oh. Was that? No, oh no, I erased my notes. Oh god, that was bad. Oh, that was real bad. Hope that's still there. Oh, thank god it is. Oh man, that hurt. What did I do? I just like copy and pasted some crazy stuff. All right, Alyssa. At 8. So the female halfling, she kind of rounds the corner as the halfling yells out, "Get him!" And she comes out, having you kind of by surprise. She is going to rush forward. She has just enough movement to get up to Adarin. And she is going to take a swing at you with her long sword. 15 to hit.
Nope.
She rushes forward. She takes a swing. You manage to jump back. She misses, and then she kind of shields up, has her sword up. And she looks like she's a little bit more... She looks like she's kind of skilled. She's of smaller stature, but she looks like she knows what she's doing. And then, Darren, it is your turn.
All right. Is there a group of people within a 20-foot radius?
Yeah, there is, 100%.
All right, I'm going to cast sleep on them.
Oh, nice. So 20 feet, let me see how big that is. Yeah, you can catch both of the thieves and the halfling woman. Or conversely, I think you might be able to catch both of the thieves and the halfling male. Let me check that. 20. You could catch the halfling male and you could catch the halfling male and the thieves, or you could catch the thieves and the halfling woman.
I think Darren would prioritize the halfling male because at least as far as she knows, he has the pocket watch.
Okay.
All right. Where is it on 5d8? 7, 7, 10. Okay, I rolled 24.
24. Hold on a second. Let me look up something. 1 second. Let me look this up real fast. Just checking something. Yeah, they don't have any sort of resilience to that. Just frightened. Just making sure. What does your sleep look like? And also, you'd be able to get the halfling and one of the thieves. I would say you could get you can get the halfling, and there is one of the thieves that looks like a little bit more battle hardy. You can get both of them.
Okay. I think her sleep is just kind of like they start to hear almost like the sound of like a ticking clock, as if they're like being hypnotized to sleep.
And they sort of this inaudible to everyone else, but to them they start to hear this ticking clock, and you see them kind of stumble, their eyes start to flitter, and both of them slump down, fall to the ground, and just kind of curl up and fall asleep. As the one thief, he kind of backs up against the wall and says, "Hey, what are you doing? Hey!" And he goes to like lean down, and it looks like he's going to maybe try to interact with the one who fell asleep. The halfling's up there by himself, isolated, asleep up on the stairs where he was. Do you want to use any movement or anything? You would take an opportunity attack from the halfling woman, so you probably don't.
No. Last time I did that, you got a nat 20.
That's true. Yeah, I think they actually knocked you unconscious, didn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's not play with fate. That's fine. The half orc comes around the side of you, and she reaches into her belt. She pulls out a small sort of hammer. It looks like it's not really necessarily meant to be a weapon, but it's the best thing she might have in this situation. She rolled really well. She got a 18, so that will be 5 points of damage as she runs up and she smashes the hammer into the halfling's shield, kind of knocking it a bit to the side. But the woman does manage to kind of maintain her composure in this situation. And that'll be the end of the half-orc's turn, which makes it the thieves' turn because the halfling male is asleep. So he's going to use his action to shake this dude awake. And then he is going to move to right about here. He's not going to get into melee. This guy is going to get up, use half his movement speed to get up, and then he will come. Let's see what range he's got here. Around the side here, and he'll take one attack at Alyssra. That's another 15. Does 15 hit Alyssra?
My AC is 15.
Okay, so it just manages to hit. So he runs up. He has like this makeshift, almost like bat, and he goes to take a swing at you. He hits for 7 points of bludgeoning damage. You kind of put an arm up, and you manage to deflect the blow, but that's going to bruise in the morning. And that's the end of their turn, and that makes it your turn, Lystra.
All right. Can I cast a spell kind of in the commotion without them really noticing?
You'd have to have subtle spell to be able to do something like that. I would possibly, as a bonus action, allow you to make a stealth check. However, you are like in plain sight. I'm not saying that I would disallow it, but I think in this situation it'd be very difficult for them to not notice.
Yeah,
can I ask
fair.
what reason you want to disguise the fact that you're casting a spell?
Oh, I was going to try to cast Silent Image to like scare them off by like creating like some cops or something. Imaginary reinforcements.
Well, they would still have to discern. They still have to succeed to make sure. Like they might not be able to. The fact that they see you cast a spell might not necessarily ruin the fact that spell may or may not work.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give it a shot. I cast Silent Image.
And what do you want to make it be?
Not cops. The defense division. Even though they're not usually down here, I'm assuming that they have seen them before. Like they're occasionally down here.
Where do you make it appear? Like around the like behind you guys or something like that, or maybe?
Yeah, kind of
here?
like pretty far away, but just like a couple soldiers from the Blue Defense Division, apparently like walking up and like noticing that there's a fight and like coming towards us.
You can use your action. I'm just reading the description of the spell real quick.
So am I.
So I'm going to make them do a wisdom save. Because there is no description of whether or not people believe it to be real unless they physically interact with it. But I do think that there should be some level of like discernment for these folks.
The
What's your
last
spell safety?
paragraph actually has that. They can examine the image.
That's if they have physical interaction. Let me see. A creature that uses action to examine the image can determine that it is an illusion with a successful intelligence investigation check against your spell safety C. Got it. So you create this illusory image of the Blue Defense Division coming around the corner. And then, do you want to do anything else on your turn?
I don't think I can do anything else on my turn.
You could like move, but yeah, you would take opportunity attack.
Oh, well, I'm not going to do that.
That's smart. As this illusory image of the
Oh wait,
Defense
bonus
force.
action. Bardic
You could, but
inspiration.
yeah, sure. There you go. That's one. That's one of them.
I'll give a Darren Bardic inspiration.
How do you do that?
I noticed that she seems a little bit nervous, so I'm like, okay, it's gonna be okay. You can do this.
Okay.
Come on, you got this.
Okay, I got this.
So as that blue, you give her a little pep talk, and then it is the halfling woman's turn. That blue defense force comes around the corner. She is going to make the intelligence check. What is your spell save DC?
That is a great question. Where do I find that?
8 plus proficiency, so 8 plus 2, and for you it'll be plus your charisma modifier. So it's probably a 14.
So, I don't know if this is right. But my charisma modifier is +6.
What's your charisma score? 18?
Yes.
That might be, and I'm just taking a guess.
Oh, that's
That-
saving throw. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
my
probably
charisma
because you're
modifier
adding
is
your
14. Okay.
Yeah, you're adding your proficiency to that number. That's why it's a 6. So it's 8 plus your proficiency, which is 2 plus 4, equaling a total of plus
14.
6.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 14. She did not get a 14. She got a 12. So she sees the blue defense force coming around the corner, and she says, "What are the fucking chances? We got to get out of here." And she turns, and she starts to run. Do you want to take opportunity attack?
Whose opportunity attack?
All three of you actually. No, that's not true. You can't take an
Yeah, I'm
opportunity attack,
thinking about
but a Darren and the half-orc can. The half-orc will do that.
Yeah, Darren probably won it.
Half-orc does. She managed to kind of hit her on the back as she's running away. It's only for 3 points of damage. The woman kind of stumbles a bit, but she does manage to keep going. And 30. She's going to dash. She goes 30. And she'll go to here. And then that's a Darren's turn. Give me a quick insight check.
It's a nat 20.
It does appear to you that the other two are going to flee. If you wanted to, you could let combat end.
Okay. From a Darren's perspective, as long as like they're not doing anything with the other guy, or that she can get her pocket watch back, that's all she really cares about.
They do sprint away, and it looks like they do kind of realize that he's asleep, but it looks like they are kind of just going to abandon him. So they do kind of sprint off, and then that is the end of that combat.
I'm gonna like that was. Did you do that?
Maybe.
And as the blue defense force guys are like kind of walking up, they just sort of like disappear. Do you want them to disappear in any particular type of way? Like, how do you want your magic to have any sort of kind of way that it functions, or is them just kind of like just evaporating? Okay,
I think they kind of like dissolve into mist that like falls onto the ground.
There you go.
That was really smart.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you both for helping chase the guy. Which I should go get my pocket
People
watch
like
back.
that. They're all over this city. You gotta be careful.
Really?
Well, I mean, any big town's gonna have its share of thieves, right?
Oh. Have you lived here a while?
Couple years. I'm from the Tides myself.
Would we have ever been to the Tides on the Nomad?
You may not have been to the Tides, but you've been on the ship for a while. And I don't know what type of relationship your character may or may not have with Matilda Axwell. But you know of the tides and like the various tide baronies and such, and you know Matilda Axwell the third, and you may have some sort of idea of like you may have an idea of your in your mind as to what being from the tides means based on her.
Okay. We have.
If you need a refresher on her as a character, I can give you one. I'm not sure if you.
No, I think I remember who it is. I just didn't know if Darren would have like a more personal reference, having like traveled with the Nomad. I think it'd just be like, yeah, we have somebody else on the ship from the Tides too.
Oh, great! Love to meet him.
Yeah, so if you stick around long enough, I think everybody will be back. They've kind of been here while we were doing our job.
They're actually it's not that important, but they're actually back. Matilda Axwell and the rest of the gang are actually back in File Cooley in a city called Zatava, and they're actually promoting a Aether mining operation.
Okay. Right. I knew they were here with us and we were getting stuff, but I don't know what.
You left them behind there. You have to go back and get them.
Let's see.
The half-orc woman turns and says, that was pretty impressive. I'm glad that worked out.
Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that, helping strangers.
Usually those guys end up just getting away. I've actually seen that guy, and she points to the halfling that's asleep. I've actually seen him get away. I've seen him do the same thing to people. So as soon as we point him out, I said that's like the third time this week.
God.
I was kind of getting tired of it when you called for help. I was just like, you know what, I had enough of it. So I'm glad it worked out. Usually it doesn't.
What do you take anyway?
Oh, he took my pocket watch.
I probably thought it was valuable.
Yeah.
And some people.
Man, I guess I get being curious, but I don't know if I could have. Yeah, I'm glad to have it back. So thank you both.
Half-orc woman, she just says, "I'll let you guys. I'll get out of your hair. I'll go get my buddy. My name's Braca. We're actually going to Black Cloud Inn, down to that road that you.
Oh, we're headed there ourselves.
Oh well, maybe if you see us, you can come by and say hi or something. You can buy me a drink.
Yeah, great to meet you, Braca.
Yeah, we'll gladly buy you a drink for your help.
She gives you a nod, says, "Well, good luck if I don't see you again." And then she makes her way down out of the thoroughfare here. You go up to the halfling, and he does have the pocket watch like in his hand, kind of like clutched to his chest. He's like snoring asleep.
Could I see if I could find like anything else that's on him? Either stuff that like gives any indication of like who he is, or just if he has any specific motivation.
Give me an investigation check, or perhaps sleight of hand, maybe. I think it's more investigation though.
How can I help?
Please.
You could offer to help for sure. Yeah.
Cool. I rolled bad the first roll. 18.
So while he's asleep, you go ahead and take your pocket watch back and then kind of start going through his person a bit. You do find a pouch that has 25 gold, 8 silver, and a handful of copper in it, which is a good bit of money, especially for somebody who's like, apparently a street urchin type of person. So that might be stolen, you suspect. Or maybe it's several different times he's stolen from people.
How much do I think her pocket watch is worth?
Give me an insight check.
I don't know. It's 8.
Darren, do you want to describe your pocket watch a little bit?
Oh, Goodness. Okay, so it's like kind of like a rose gold, kind of similar to her hair color a little bit, but it's not like completely closed, or like the front of it isn't like just completely like metal or whatever material. It kind of has like almost like in the shape of a clock. It has like these little like slots and like window openings kind of like into the interior of the clock.
Interesting.
Is there any moving components, or is it just a like is
Oh,
it ticking away?
Oh yeah, I think it's like it's working, and you probably too can kind of like, I think the gears inside are a little bit exposed too. So it's like there's kind of like the watch face, but you can see a little bit of the gears underneath as well.
I would say that even on a low roll, I mean, it looks interesting. Like it's kind of hard to say, especially with those types of items. Sometimes they're worth a gold, and then sometimes they're worth 5,000 gold. Like there's no real ceiling to how those types of items can be priced. It looks nice. It's kind of hard to say exactly how much it would be worth
All right.
in your mind.
Well, in my mind, I'm going to decide that it's worth 5 gold. And since the guy tried to steal something that was worth 5 gold, I'm going to take 5 gold from him.
That's fair. And you also, during your investigation of Darren, you do see on his belt, he has this dagger that has a little gem at the base of the hilt. And it almost looks like it's made out of like maybe silver or something. And it has the gem itself is like a red ruby, and then the wrapping of the handle is wrapped in like a red leather. And it looks like a really nice dagger. Definitely something that might be worth like a considerable amount of money, and you also suspect it's probably stolen. Besides that, you don't really get anything on this person that marks him as a member of a group or anything that's an identifier for like who he is or what his name is or something like that. You do find in his coat and the cloak, there are like interior pockets. And inside of one of the pockets, there is a collection of like herbs. And you can give me a medicine check on those herbs.
12.
So when you go through the pocket, you feel the herbs. You feel that they're very cool to the touch. They're almost icy. And you kind of pick them up and rub them in your fingers. And besides that, you don't know what these are, and you don't know much about it. But a little bit interesting. You've never felt anything like that before. You touch them, and they must have some. If you feel like they have like maybe magical properties to them, and that might kind of pique your interest, given your character's past decisions.
Can I help at all with identifying these? Do I know anything?
I won't let you do the help action, but I will let you roll a medicine check as well.
All right. 16.
You do know that they are called ice rack weed, but you don't. You they have like these little pretty white flowers on them, and for some reason, you know what they are. Maybe you just enjoy the way they look or the way they smell or something, but you don't know why he would have them on. You don't know anything about like their properties from a medicinal standpoint, anyway.
Could I do... Would an Arcana check get anything?
I would say that possibly, but you'd have to do that at a later time.
Okay. That's fair.
And for now, because we're coming to an end, I'm going to jump back to Avriel, actually, with Titus.
Nice.
You're dirty 20 on those boxes, right? You guys are going about the sides of the warehouse area, and Titus has like a little crowbar, and he's going about. He's like prying open boxes, and he's looking inside. Some of the stuff has like clothing inside. You guys might like shift through a little bit and be like, there ain't nothing in here. You go through a few boxes, and he does find like a pretty nice black cloak, and he does just like he takes it out and he kind of puts it on, and he kind of puts his arms out, and he looks at you. He's like, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks badass. I like it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just gonna like. He reaches in his pouch and he pulls out a couple silver and he throws it into the box. He goes, I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And he continues to go now look in this black cloak. He's prying open boxes and looking inside. A few of them have food in them, and you kind of are wrapping around the side of the warehouse closer to the docks. And give me a perception check following this investigation check very quickly.
16.
You notice that there are these collection of boxes and barrels and stuff sort of scattered about. There's space like along the warehouse. They're just kind of like there's just like a ton of them, and they're just like side by side, kind of chaotically stacked. Perhaps they're like shipments that are being prepared to be put on ships or something. You don't really know why they're here, but as you get closer and closer to the dock itself, like where your ship is moored, you see that they do start to spread out, and there's like a collection of barrels or crates or something in like little hovels, and they tend to be about 10 or so feet apart, with some of them being a little bit further. And then there is more of the boxes and barrels and bags and stuff around the base of the crane that is in the center of the dock. Go over yonder. And then they continue to kind of be like in these kind of sparse, like little, they separate by like 5 or 10 feet. As you guys get to the edge of the dock, he pries open another barrel, and he says, "What's that?" And you look in, and there is like a copper sphere at the top of the barrel that has like a slight. You hear like a little like.
I just grab him and run.
You grab him and you start to run. Give me an athletics check.
16 again.
You start to run. You grab him. You give him a solid pull. He says, he's this big dude. And you aren't able to move him. He says, well, what are you doing?
I think it's a bomb, dude. We gotta get the fuck out of here.
He goes, oh, that's metal. And then he starts to run. Both of you start running away back towards the warehouse. You hear, and then one big. Give me a dexterity saving throw. Damien, give me a dexterity saving throw.
12.
Natural 20. Let's go.
Hell yeah, dog. You're only going to take half of what I'm about to do.
I'm down. I'm just kidding.
Possibly multiple bombs.
So, Avriel, you take 17 points of damage.
Almost.
You feel the blast, you get thrown forward, you fall on the ground. Titus falls on top of you. You take 1 point of damage from him falling on top of you. And then Damien, you take that damage halved. Ooh. And then math is hard. You take 23 points of damage, Damien. Are you conscious?
Is that after half?
That is after half.
I have 2 HP. I'm good.
Damien, you're in the ship. You're with the young man and the old man. You're with Jume and the old man. And you suddenly hear, and you hear it getting closer. And then you can feel like a ripple. And time almost like slows down as you look up, and you can see the ship begin to bend and twist as the top of the ship begins to just ripple with fire, and the wood begins to splinter, and then fire begins to come into the room. The old man very quickly, supernatural speed beyond what you can particularly really conceive, moves, grabs Jume. He reaches for you as the fire begins to overtake them, and you see him vanish into like black smoke. Disappears before he's able to get hold of you. As then the whole ship just ignites. There's this blue sort of orb you see. You can feel almost like this distortion of gravity, this like strange wave, this pulsation as I don't know the math. There is 10,000 gold worth of Aethra on the ship. 25 gold of Aether is about 500 pounds. You figure it out. As that all at once ignites, and you feel yourself just kind of thrown into the air as the ship just is eliminated from existence. Bashiabas, as you are making your way down towards the Black Cloud Tavern, you hear and feel a rippling, and you turn and you see fires as and you see this blue light that kind of grows out. You see a few figures kind of launched into the air as it then compresses and then bursts, and there's a wave, and you see people in the street get like knocked down, and you can kind of see it coming towards you as people are falling to the ground. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Well, I have +6, but a natural 2 is not going to help that much. We have an 8.
Oh, that wave hits you. You go rolling backwards 10 feet. You take 6 points of falling damage. And then as you land, you feel your body start to get pulled back across the ground as there's a pullback. And then quiet. And then you're just laying there. There's debris. People are screaming. There are fires. Damien, you feel yourself in consciousness. You go up into the sky, and you start falling down. Boom. Land on the concrete. Give me an acrobatics saving throw. You're muted if you're talking. If you don't answer me soon, I'll just kill you.
My bad. It was lagging for a second. I got a 15.
I won't really kill you. What was your acrobatics save? It's not a save. Your acrobatics check.
15. I got a 15.
15? Not that good.
I can use something. I can use like my shackles, right?
I will allow it, but technically you're not level 3 yet. But I'll still allow it.
Okay.
You don't technically have that feature, but the shackles allow you to access that feature, so I think it's okay.
I got a 19.
There you go. That's lucky because you did 2 HP.
Yeah.
So you take half of 2 points of falling damage. Take 1 point of falling damage. You fly up in the air. You do manage to kind of curl your body into a ball. You kind of go into a little bit of spin, and you do manage to kind of land on your feet, and you just are like, oh shit. And you look around, and you're like, you're okay. You're like, what the hell? The last bit of luck you had, you can feel your body like riddled with pain and burns, but you're alive. You see the ship is just gone. People are splayed out on the dock, workers. There's a bunch of debris, wood, metal. The crane is falling to the ground. There's this massive crash and then wind from the crane falling. Give me a perception check, Damien.
I rolled in 9.
In all of the chaos, you don't see Nettie, you don't see the assistant, you don't see Captain Edward. And that's where we'll end the session.
Oh my god!
Too much.
Great.
You literally just blew up our home.
Oh, god, Jared's gonna have a breakdown.
Oh, Leopold's gonna go on a killing spree. The only target he has right now is the Blue Lantern fuckers.
All right. Prepare backup character for Thursday. Got it.
I'm having laughing Jack
I'm about to
flashbacks.
go John Wick. What are we gonna do now? We're stuck here for a while.
Yeah, you thought this was an open world freaking RPG? Nope.
Yeah, no. The map suggests it.
Do you remember how long?
Grand Rise is back. Plenty of open world here.
Do you remember how long it took us to get our own ship in the other game? Almost a year.
It was almost a year, actually.
To be fair, this Nomad wasn't our ship. It was just where we lived.
Yeah.
It's basically the only home a Jared has.
Same with Leo. He hasn't had a home in a long time besides that damn thing.
Yeah.
And I
Every.
just bought fucking parts for it.
Yeah. Well, you could put it on another ship, maybe.
Oh, I'm gonna make a fucking bomb now.
Avrion's gonna have so much PTSD. It's gonna
You guys want to play with explosives? Leo can play with explosives.
fun stuff.
Titus
Alright,
survived. I'm really happy I didn't kill Titus. That was dope. He's my new favorite NPC. I don't care. Anyways.
Yeah. Do you want to be best friends? Yep.
Immediately.
It's metal.
Yeah, that's metal. I like your shirt.
Okay, it's pretty great, yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, I'll see you next Thursday.
See ya.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Have a wonderful night.
Hold on. Let me check my calendar real quick before we leave. Let me.
Yeah, we had to make up for a long time. It's been so long.
I am going to Gen Con. That's the 30th. And like, no, it's not the 30th. I'm sorry. So that's the first. Yeah, it's the first. My bad.
2 weeks.
Thursday the 1st. But like, I'm going to Gen Con for TTRPGs. Like, I could probably play a TTRPG. I just don't know if I can bring my computer on the plane. So like, I maybe can try to squeeze out a game with the laptop, but I think that might be that's unreliable. I don't know how I feel about that. So in 2 weeks, we might have to skip a session because I'm going to be in Indianapolis. But if anybody wants to go to Gen Con, I'll be there. You want to grab a plane ticket real quick? That's where I'll be at.
Drive.
So I'll be there. So I have a feeling it's probably the best thing to do is probably just to plan to not have D&D again in 2 weeks. My apologies. But after that, I shouldn't have to cancel a session early. while. I don't have anything coming up again. So
We level up because of trauma, right?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Everyone thinks you gotta kill stuff. No, emotional trauma is XP too, man.
you did 2 level. This is our second session at level 2.
I think we've been at it.
So
This is like
We leveled up after immediately after the fight with those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I usually do 1 session level 2, 2 sessions to level 3. So technically, by my standards, you'd be level 3 right now. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Because this was the end of the second session.
Yeah.
And level 2.
I usually have it takes the same amount of sessions as the level you are. But I do.
Oh, it works out perfectly because then I get to pick my subclass and then
I get
and we get to
it.
go on a revenge John Wick situation.
yeah.
You have
Now
no
we're-
idea. I get trick shots now.
I have meta magic
Violent
now.
all day.
There you go.
Mhm.
And it's vengeance time. Right? I'm going off.
No one's ever gonna go shopping with Leopold now.
Yeah, you're
Like,
in the
shit blew up. Fuck you, guy.
Yeah, it's definitely close to vengeance.
What meta magic option should I choose?
Personally, a twinned healing word in the right moment is super clutch.
I don't have healing word, but I have
that's right.
cure wounds.
Mhm.
I think I was gonna go twin and maybe quicken to start with because I
I
was
think those are good.
yeah I
I
level
would do that or
Subtle.
it's
Subtle's
either
not bad.
subtle or twin. Quicken's a
Mhm.
give me, but
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do twin and quicken, and then for 4th level, instead of doing an ability score, I was gonna, if possible, take the meta magic feat so I could get
Solid.
more options.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, taking subtle later. I feel like taking subtle right away is not as big of a deal because you don't got to worry so much about counterspell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then you want it later for when you do have to worry about counterspell and when you don't want to get the cure wounds.
or if
counterspell.
you just want to be sneaky and get away with magic shit, our
Yep.
new tortured soul in our group now.
Cure wounds could become healing word with distance spell.
Ooh,
Yeah, I thought about that too.
yeah, that'd be
But
cool.
I think to start with, actually, I'm not gonna do twin right now because I can do that next level, and twin cost a lot.
I just got.
But
dead
you can
eye
also
and violent.
but you can also get sorcery points pretty easily. Just sacrifice a spell slot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but I'm also a sorcerer, so I don't have a lot of spell slots.
It's true.
Currently,
Early
You don't get a lot-
is rough.
you don't get a lot of spells.
Yeah, but yeah,
you pretty much go up to Aethra 6th level, then you just upcap a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what I've seen.
I have Hunter's Mark now. So that's cool.
I have gripes about Hunter's Mark.
I have some gripes. I have some issues.
What are your
Yeah, I agree.
gripes?
It should not. It should be non-concentration. I mean, that's the whole Ranger class is built around Hunter's Mark. I don't know. I can't think of a single class that has a feature that you, in order to use the feature and be cool, you have to sacrifice doing all the other cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm gonna head home before my wife gets mad at me. But I will talk to you guys over the course of the week. I'm sure you have a lot to say to me, and I will see you on Thursday.
I'm a lot crying.
since you've been gone.
Missed you all. I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry for what I just did to you.
Hell of a welcome
Love you,
back to
bye.
the game.
Yeah.
See y'all next
You
week.
didn't see that one coming.
I mean, I didn't have much
Suckers.
attachment to the ship, but now I gotta think of a reason I'm staying with the party.
Yeah, because she was like, "Oh, that's a nice ship,"
Yeah. It's a way out of
I'm
here.
looking for someone, and so I was like, I'm gonna go on the ship so that I can search the whole area. And now it's like, well, why am I hanging out with these people? They don't have a ship.
They're gonna have a. They're gonna be the first thing. The first order of business for Captain Edinburgh is gonna be get a new ship. Don't you worry.
Hell yeah.
If he's alive.
I don't know. He seems
He's
pretty
a
sturdy.
tough old bastard.
Him and Nettie better be alive.
Surviving on pure rage and adrenaline.
Yeah, you put all those NPCs in the Discord, and now half of them are gonna be dead.
Captain Edinburgh ain't going down that easy. The assistant is the one that might be in trouble. I gotta roll for him. Nettie's fine. Meta level, Nettie's probably fine, but the assistant could be in trouble. I don't know. Might just get them. We'll see. I'll see you guys. Thank you for being here.
Take care,
Have a
everybody.
good week.
Yeah.
Later.